Hello. Hello. Hi, everyone. Mosh mosh. Hello. Hi, guys. Can you hear me? Kikoemasu ka? Hi, hi. BGM switch. Mori is here. Mori is here. Don't worry. Hi. Excuse the new microphone. I am on the go, but I still want to be here with you guys. So here I am. Here I am. Mori's here. You've got Mori. Hello, Ambassador. Would you like to see my credentials? Did you have fun at dinner? I sure did. I got to see my longtime friend. I'm so excited for her. Her life seems to be going in so many exciting directions, but I did tell her I have to see my deadbeats. They're here, they're waiting for me. And thus, here we are. Hi, everyone. Mori Calliope here. That's right, you may have heard of me. Tokyo Tourism Ambassador. Sorry that I won't be smiling much. I really want to, but sadly, it appears that there are some issues with the internet connection. And thusly, I have to use a webcam, and the webcam doesn't like to let me smile. So you're just gonna have to believe that I'm smiling in my heart. If you can believe that, I'd be happy. I have diplomatic immunity now, correct? I do. I'd love to have you guys join me on the screen as chat. You guys are as equally important as I am to this stream. Let me see if I may add you. There we go. I think it is possible. Okay, well, that's not quite what I wanted. I was thinking more along the lines of this. There they are. Yatta. Okay, now we're poppin'. How's it hoppin'? Thank you guys so much for waiting for me. I really wish I could have been there on time, but gosh, me and my friend could talk forever. That's okay though. That's okay. I'm here now. Moe's here. Nothing to fear. I'll force the smiling emoji. Oh no, this one doesn't force a smile. Now it just looks like something lewd is happening. No. There's nothing like that. Where's my forcing smile emoji? It's not here. I can't find it. Oh no. She's not smiling, run away. And now the chat is stopped. Now the chat is shy. There we go. Now it's moving again. Oh gosh, it's zooming. Guys, I'm here to talk to you about Japan today. Are you guys cool to have some Japan conversations with me? I hope you've seen my credentials. See, it's a business card. A business card that says I am a Tokyo Tourism Ambassador. Now I know that I am not the only one. I am alongside Gura-chan and Mikochi. However, I figured that I might as well do something, right? It felt strange for me to be handed such an honor and then not do anything in return. So I figured that it might be a good idea for me to do a little explaining about Japan and lure you guys over here into the trap. I mean, welcome you to this fantastic country in which I live, and many others who are actually born here. I am just a filthy Gaikokujin. However, as a Gaikokujin, speaking to fellow Gaikokujins, I'd like to maybe introduce to you some various things that I've learned. Also, no, I have not been drinking. In fact, I've had no drop because it would go against my fast. I'm drinking water. And eating soba, as you can see. The soba that is placed in front of me, with tempura. Just so we're on the same page. But the blush looks cute, so I can't avoid it. Look. A filthy cute Gaikokujin. I'll take it. As long as cute is in there. We're talking about Japan today, and the different important things that you may want to know about, or maybe write down somewhere important, so that you can remember when it is time for you to visit Japan. Because as a Tokyo Tourism Ambassador, I have an obligation to make you want to come to Japan. However, I will say, I am aware that many of you have already planned trips to Japan, which is exciting. How many members in chat? How many of you guys are planning to come to glorious Nippon? I know it's more than one. Well, even if you aren't coming anytime soon, you can still, I don't know, maybe I can convince you. Let's see how tonight goes. Sorry I look dead inside. It's just webcam Mori. Eventually. Okay, that's good. Not this year, no money. That's okay. Now's a better time than ever to start saving. Give me a concert I can actually attend. Well, with Holo on the up and up, I'd say that's pretty possible. The future's looking really bright for Holo, especially with our brand new shiny studio. So, I think that you guys can anticipate more amazing concerts and fun events in the future, right? No saving, only Blu-ray. But what if you already got the Blu-ray? What's the next thing to save for, right? That studio is huge. It's really big. I haven't seen it, of course. We have not yet been welcomed to it. But eventually, I think there are just some little things here and there that are being sort of brushed up so that we can eventually come check it out ourselves. But it may still take a bit of time. So, I would love to see you performing at the Tokyo Dome. Thank you. I'd like to aim for Budokan, but Tokyo Dome is, I don't know, that seems like too big. I think that in order to perform at Tokyo Dome, we would need the combined power of hololive. I think it's possible. I think it could happen someday, with the way that things are on the up and up, right? Blu-ray has arrived, haven't watched it yet. Well, I hope you enjoy it when you do get a chance to check it out. What is my favorite spot in Japan? Well, I'm sure that you'll find it out as we talk a little bit about Japan, but to answer right off the cuff, I'd probably say Hokkaido, Josanke. There's a place called Josanke. It's an onsen village. That's not the expression I wanted. This was it. Onsen village. I could use a soak in the hot spring right now. That would be nice. Also, by the way, I'm with some family members right now. Some of them are a little bit old, and have some sleeping issues. So if they end up sleepwalking into the room and saying things, I am sorry. But that's okay. We're living life like a loaded gun. No better way to live. That beats. Also, there are 2 cats here. Hello, cats. Anyway. For whatever reason, I seem to bring bad internet tidings wherever I go. Oh Lord, there's something loud outside. Well, I guess that's just what I get for choosing to travel in my life. But you know what? Travel is fun, and my love for travel is part of the reason that I fell in love with Japan and going to Japan, right? And now I'm here to share some of the love with you guys and tell you guys about my travels and things that I recommend. So, sometimes some things can be a double-edged sword, but that's okay. We have to take the good with the bad. Life isn't perfect. People aren't perfect. Mori definitely isn't perfect, but she's here to share the joys of Japan with you. How many of you guys have ever dreamed about going to Japan? Even if it's not really realistic. I'd be surprised if not every person here has kind of thought about it, right? Hello. I like Tokyo. Yeah. There are lots of nice spots in Tokyo, but you know, Japan has a lot of fun stuff just around it in general. There are all kinds of places to visit and things to see and experience that aren't necessarily just Tokyo, right? There's a lot going on everywhere. Let me see if I can look at this video without an ad. I can't look at it without an ad. They want to give me an ad, even though I have ad blocker on. Perhaps this is just a glorified, just chatting stream. But even if it is, I think that's okay. It is very late over here. It's very late. That's okay. That's okay. that's okay. I'm streaming almost every day. I got goals. I have things that I want to try to do. So here I am. We're talking about Japan. Let me take a sip of water. My mom is a weeb and she passed it on to me. I think there are a lot of deadbeats here who might say, wow, lucky. But I mean, not everybody necessarily likes when their parents are into their same hobbies. So, perhaps it's not such a lucky thing, unless you're into it, unless you guys can talk about it together. I know that Walla's mom really likes Minecraft, which is kind of fun. But I wonder if it ever gets annoying, to the point where Walla is like, hey mom, can you not message me about playing Minecraft today? Who could say? But to be honest, I think that just having someone in your life who's understanding is good enough, right? Like my mama Mori, when I tried to explain all of this to her in the beginning, I kind of feel like she didn't really get it. Oh, that was a cat sneeze. She didn't really get it, but she tried to. Oh, the cat ran away. Sorry, there may be some noises. There are a lot of cats here. There are maybe 5. I think understanding is important, right? Even if a family member can't relate entirely to something that you enjoy, right? Maybe you can at least, I don't know, explain it to them and maybe they can pretend to understand. Mama Mori sounds so enthusiastic about your career. I'm glad you think so. I feel like, well, I don't want to say it wasn't always that way, but I want to say that she didn't always understand, which is also fine. But the good thing about Mama Mori, and one of her really nice qualities, is that she always tries to understand. Isn't that nice? I'm very lucky. I never want to take that for granted. Anyway, we were supposed to talk about Japan. Oh! Sorry, I was just cycling through humanity for a minute there. I'm back. Sorry. I hate that with this. It's not really a tired voice. It's more like I did a lot of stuff today voice, right? I can't even force a smile on this model. Even though I really am smiling. Here, let me try. That's the best I can. Hold on, I'm smiling with all my heart. You almost get one. It just defaults to sadness. Well. I guess that this is what Kami-sama intended. I bet a lot of you guys are wondering, when is the time to come to Japan? Well, a lot of people will say, oh, come to Japan during this time, or this season's the best, this date is the best, you want to avoid these dates, if you're on a budget, etc., etc. But I think the main answer to that lies in what do you want to do? What do you want to do in Japan? Because depending on what you want to do, there's a different season that you should come in. Well, if you've already planned your travel, that's okay. It just means you really ought to focus in on certain activities. Now, when tickets are cheap, well, that is certainly the way. If that's the case, you really don't want to come in spring. Spring is very expensive, and that's because the Japanese know that the cherry blossoms are blooming, and those gaikokujins want to see them. That is obvious to them, and they are smart. They know when the gaikokujins are coming in. By the way, gaikokujin means foreigner. It's a little more polite than gaijin. Or even gaijin-san. Gaijin-san is okay, but gaikokujin is the way. Anyway, it's expensive. Plane tickets will be expensive, hotels will be expensive, activities will be expensive. I don't think food will be expensive because, of course, they don't want to make the food expensive for everyone, right? Maybe just the tourist. But touristy things are going to be expensive, so get ready for that. And get ready for hotels to be booked out. If you want to go in spring, you're going to need to plan your vacation very, very early. I'd give it half a year in advance. Just for the planning. If you want to book hotels and whatnot, just make sure to do it several months in advance. Me with no money, that's okay. You can always save up some pocket money. That was how I went to Japan the very first time. I had a job, even though I was in school. Yep, I somehow balanced going to college and having a part-time job. I saved up all of my money so that I could go to Japan for just a weekend. I got an economy flight ticket. I stayed in a capsule hotel. And I made do. So, if you can be diligent with your money and find yourself a part-time job. I believe it's possible. A weekend? Indeed. There was a band I wanted to see. The following year, I went 7 times to Japan. I suppose I probably should have started off with the experience that I've had in Japan, which is there is a lot of it. 7 times. No way. No, I'm dead serious. 7 times. And I stayed at a hostel every time. You see, Japan isn't much like other countries, especially European countries, where it might be, well, I say European, but I also mean America as well. Staying in hostels can be dangerous. I don't know if you guys have seen the horror movies, the hostel horror movies. No, thank you. But in Japan, staying in a hostel is actually fine. You want to, of course, read the reviews and make sure that they're okay, but typically, I've stayed in a gazillion hostels and they were all friendly, all clean. People didn't mess with each other. It was nice and it was cheap. And that was where I stayed when I was bopping around going to a bunch of different concerts or doing my own concerts back in the day. That's what I would do. An economy flight ticket and then stay at a hostel. It worked out well. Prefer APA hotel or friend's place, to be honest. That works too. Both of those work very well. Especially if you have a friend in Japan. I feel like that's the best, right? Well, I recommend that you kind of figure out exactly when you want to go so that you can start figuring out what your budget is. If you want to go in spring, it's going to be more expensive. That's just the truth. There's really no way to get around it. There are budget airlines, which I'll get into later, but there's no way to get those prices way down in the way that you want. You're just going to have to expect that if you want to see your fancy cherry blossoms from your animes, you're just going to have to fork up the cash. So I recommend going in spring if you want to see sakura. There's also a really special festival. Like, for example, this picture here was taken during this festival, Fuji Shibazakura Festival. All kinds of really special, beautiful, different kind of variations of cherry blossoms blooming all around Japan, and you can get amazing pictures of them with Mount Fuji in the background, if the weather's nice. Weather permitting, of course, which is always the big, asterisk. Include asterisk, put in the footnotes, weather permitting. But the good news is, though Japan has it has its good weather days, and that's the good news. But if you're really into the cherry blossom viewing, you're going to want to make sure that you go, I would say, late March, early April. That's how you get your maximum cherry blossom viewing in. And you'll want to go to Meguro. In Meguro, you can see a very long sort of lake/canal that goes right through the center. And there are many bridges and walkways where you can walk along these beautiful sakura that are sort of drooping over the river, over the canal. It's really quite amazing, and I recommend it. Additionally, if you want really excellent weather, Japan has great springtime weather. I'm sad that I'm missing out on a lot of it right now, before the crazy summer heat comes in. Additionally, Hokkaido flowers. Most of the Hokkaido snow is going to be gone if you go any later than March. However, if you go into some of the more rural areas of Hokkaido, you can see beautiful lavender fields, a lot of really colorful flower fields as well. I'd recommend renting a car. There are a lot of really good plans and roadmaps for going through the Hokkaido countryside and enjoying the really beautiful flowers. They bloom in all different colors. I went with my friend who's getting married a long time ago. We rented out a car and we drove through the countryside, but we were sad because when we arrived at the farms, the flowers were done. It was over. And granted, we went sometime in late April, I believe. It was all done by then. Things are a little bit earlier in Hokkaido, for whatever reason. Cherry blossoms bloom earlier, winter comes earlier. Just gotta be ready for it. Yeah, they were all gone. The lavender was gone too. We really didn't plan very well, and that's why I want to tell you guys. If there are things in Hokkaido that you want to see, like beautiful flowers blooming in the Japanese countryside, you're going to want to have to go in March. So you go in March, and then you make your way to Tokyo for the end of March/beginning of April to enjoy the cherry blossoms that are happening in Tokyo, is what I recommend to you. Yeah, months in advance. How crazy hot does it get? Southern California resident here, you say? Really hot. I don't know how many of you guys have been to Texas before. I am a Texan Reaper. And the Japanese heat and humidity is even worse than Texas. It is bad. It is intense. It is sweaty. And you will not want to go outside. As long as you're prepared for that, I think you'll be okay. Which is why we will now lead into summer. Those of you that want to go in summer, here are the things you'll want to do. Beach trips, watermelon smashing, that is a real thing. Barbecue, fireworks, and summer festivals. If you look up the summer festivals that are going on, you'll actually find quite a few fireworks going on. A lot of them happen over the beach or in different little towns here and there. Yep, fireworks. I highly recommend them. I used to live on a tiny island off of Nagasaki, and we had the most beautiful fireworks festival. You'd be surprised how many little neighborhoods and sections of Japan are doing fireworks festivals. It's actually okay there. I know that a lot of places in the United States that have forests and the like, right, are not allowed to have fireworks because there's big worry about forest fires and brush fire, etc. But in Japan, the rules regarding fireworks are much more tame in various areas. So if you want to see some beautiful fireworks, especially ones over the ocean, I recommend going to Japan in summer. And the beaches are really quite wonderful. It depends on the beach that you go to, though. If you go way south of Tokyo, which I'd say it might be about an hour and a half train's ride to the south, there's a place called Chigasaki. I once lived there a long time ago. Chigasaki has a lovely beach in comparison to maybe Kawasaki, which is kind of, I don't know, it's a bit of an ugly beach. Wouldn't recommend going there. Even Tokyo's beaches are not quite as nice as the ones that you'll find in southern Japan, southeast Japan. I would recommend going there. I've had barbecues on the beach in Chigasaki. Again, very far to the south. You might also get a trip into Enoshima. I don't know if anybody here has seen the anime Tsuritama before. That's Tsuritama with a T-S-U-R... Wait, no R. T-S-U-T-R-I... T-A-M-A, Tsuritama. It's a fishing anime. Yeah, it takes place in a place called Enoshima. And Enoshima is a great day trip. So you could spend maybe a day in Chigasaki enjoying the beach, and then the next day go to Enoshima, which is very close to Chigasaki. Enoshima is great because it's not really a place where a ton of people live. It's more of like, it's specifically a tourist trap island, but it doesn't have like an ugly, yucky tourist feel. It's like a fun, camaraderie-esque tourist feeling. There are a lot of tourists there, but it's still laid back and fun. You know, when I went to Enoshima, I actually got a chance to try crab and octopus senbei. If you've ever heard of senbei before, it's a sort of cracker that's very popular in Japan. They come in many different types, many different flavors. What I didn't realize about this sort of senbei is that what they do is, well, don't worry, the creature is not alive. All of them, they are dead. Do not worry. But what they do is they take this creature, octopus, crab, etc. They put a bunch of batter on a plate, and of course the octopus or the crab, and then they crush it flat like a pancake and turn it into senbei. They turn it into a cracker, just the entire thing. You know, they don't really bother like removing the shell or like any part of the animal. They just crush it with the batter and it becomes senbei. It was actually very delicious. It did taste a bit of the ocean, but it was the experience that was really interesting. And of course, the colors were very beautiful. You could see all kinds of pinks and oranges and whatnot kind of smashed together. They did it with shrimp, too. Any of you shrimp fans? But it's like jumbo shrimp. Shrimp in Japan is basically, it comes in many forms, but what you may know as lobster in the States or other places, they still call ebi, which is shrimp. It's just a really big shrimp, right? So they would have those lobsters too, those big shrimp, that they would also crush and make into senbei. You can get those at Enoshima. And even better, if you want to know the best time to go to Enoshima, it's a bit of a crapshoot, and it's not guaranteed that you'll see this. However, in Enoshima, the cherry blossoms bloom very, very, very early, weirdly enough. So, if you end up going during a time where it's still winter, but the sakura are blooming, you might just get to see snow and sakura at the same time. I was very privileged to have gotten a chance to see that. You have to be a bit lucky because the snow will be falling and the sakura will be blooming at the same time. So you do have to be a bit lucky with it. You'll need to get your timing very much on point. The time that I got to see that was actually when I missed my flight. I was studying a long time ago in Asia. I was doing a college overseas international studying, right? And I was visiting Japan at the time. However, I was taking a budget airline, and I arrived 2 minutes late, and they did not let me on the plane. I was very sad. At the time, I was also very poor. And so one of my longtime internet friends who I knew in Japan and who had been showing me around actually was extremely generous and funded me going to the other end of Japan to see a crazy show that I didn't think I was going to be able to see, because I was like, oh, well, I'm going back to this other place and I can't see it. But because I missed my flight, I ended up being able to go to a show happening in Kagoshima. However, the day before I departed for that, my other friend in Japan said to me, well, Mori, you seem really sad. Let's go to Enoshima and have some fun. And when we went, it happened to be snowing and the sakura were blooming. Isn't that amazing? To see sakura and snow falling onto the cherry blossoms? In Japan, a place that has 4 seasons, they're very proud of that. That kind of thing can happen. It's like magic, really. What a lovely story. Yeah, I like to think back to it because it was a time where I was like, wow, I really do have just the best friends in the world. I'm super lucky. And I don't know, I was really humbled by that experience, but I thought to myself, I'd love if others could see this someday. This amazing sight. So pretty rare from what I've heard. It is rare, but it can happen. This feels like ASMR, lol. Yeah, it's just that my relatives are asleep and I don't want to go too hard on it. So I hope that it can be more on the relaxing side and that's okay for you guys. But yeah. 日本人も見れないね。めっちゃ珍しい. It's a very rare sight. But I do hope that maybe you can go see it. I recommend an Enoshima trip anyway. They have plenty of hotels and also ryokan, which we'll get to later. More traditional hotels that you can stay at. You can do a little temple visit as well, which I also recommend. There's a really big and beautiful temple up at the top of the mountain at Enoshima, and a lot of people like to climb it. It's really nice. If you're into the more traditional aspects of visiting Japan, etc., then I would recommend it. Alright, let me change music. I wish they wouldn't give me an ad every time. Sorry about that. But really, Enoshima is beautiful. I'd recommend visiting Enoshima at any time that you want to, right? It can be summer, spring, fall, winter. All times in Enoshima are nice. I think that fishing might be better in fall, if you want to do some fishing, summer/fall. But you'll need to be careful. You need to figure out where you can fish. There are a lot of oji-san on Enoshima that really just don't care very much about being told where they can fish. I've had some friends and I, kind of look and see oji-san, which is, that's older men, on some faraway rocks where they're not supposed to be fishing, and we would try and go down there too, and the police would be walking around, or the guards, and they'd say, no, you guys can't go down there. We'd point to the oji-chan and be like, well, he's down there, and they'd be like, just shake their head like, oh, we can't do anything about that guy, get up here. Which is not the most fair, but it is what it is. There are some places that you can go fishing, though. The more open areas, the less dangerous areas. They just don't want to be responsible if you hurt yourself, right? That might be the main thing. I'm thinking. I want chiller music. I want chiller music, I say. Alright, anyway. If you want to go in the fall/winter, here's what I would recommend to you. If you want to go to Japan to experience autumn leaves, amazing ryokan visits, excellent weather, and if you plan to leave Tokyo, you should go in fall. The main reason I say that is because I feel like it's just a really excellent time for travel in Japan in general. So if you don't just want to see what all that Tokyo has to offer, for example, if you want to make an Osaka trip and then maybe hike it down to Kagawa, or someplace more like central, more countryside Japan, and then move down to Kagoshima/Nagasaki/Hiroshima/Fukuoka, right? If you want to go to those places, I'd recommend going in fall. The main reason being the weather is nice and travel isn't too intense during that time. The prices are really, really good. Fall weather in Japan is perfect. Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. The leaves are just beautiful. I know that Japanese talk a lot, especially in schools, about how proud they are of their 4 seasons, and I guess I kind of get it, but it's always in fall where I really start to understand and think to myself, wow, yeah, it sure is amazing that Japan's got these 4 seasons because the leaves are gorgeous during this time. I'm going to Osaka in fall. Let's go. Excellent. That's amazing. You get to check out the kitchen of Japan. Japan's kitchen, which is Osaka. Of course, Osaka, I think, has the best food in Japan. Tokyo isn't bad. I would say Japan as a whole has good food, and different prefectures and cities have their specialties, of course. How do you feel about June rain? I'm just not going to go outside. I'm just not going to go outside at all. If you're into the really historical aspect of Japan as well, check this out, Osaka Castle. I've been to Osaka Castle as well, and it's interesting. There are all kinds of little plaques everywhere where you can read more about the history of Osaka Castle. Japan's actually full of castles here and there that are still standing. A lot of them surrounded by really dense trees and, walkways where you can enjoy nature before getting to check out the castle. Food trips are the best. Well, if you want to have a fantastic food trip, you have to hit Osaka. And also, of course, you can do a little Universal Studios Japan visit along the way. If you're to go to Osaka, I would plan maybe 3 days there. Even then, that might not be quite enough to see everything that you want to do, but it might be nice to have a day where you check out the more historical things, right? Or maybe you want to include a little Kyoto trip on top of that. Just tack on a little Kyoto trip, because, Kyoto, Kobe, they're really not that far from Osaka at all. You can probably reach those places within an hour, 45 minutes. It's really not that far away at all. So I'd recommend, trying to get that in as well. So maybe 4 days would be good. Take a day to visit Kyoto. Check out Fushimi Inari. Kyoto is full of really historical stuff. If you're into the more historical part of Japan, I'd really recommend going there. And then, of course, have a day where you enjoy the kitchen of Japan, checking out Osaka and all of the different delicious things there. I think that okonomiyaki and takoyaki are the more obvious things. Why would you change? I get it. It's because I didn't loop the music. Well, that hurts my... Well, this is a great song, but it's just not the vibe. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, one sort of lesser known thing that you should try is kushikatsu. Kushikatsu is basically fried stuff on a stick. Now, Osaka has some fantastic stalls where you can find things like croquets and, of course, takoyaki and kushikatsu, which I really recommend. It's delicious. You can get fried pretty much anything on a stick. Some of the more popular options are like mochi, different meats, various meats, asparagus, potatoes as well. Sounds like street food. It sure is, and it's really good in Osaka. Highly recommended. Osaka has some good noodles as well, I will say, but I personally am of the opinion that Kyushu has got the best ramen. And of course, Kagawa for the best udon. But that's just my own personal opinion. I think all ramen in Japan is good, from anywhere. But of course, each place has its own specialty ramen, so there is that. Quail egg kushikatsu, umai ne. Now you may be thinking, Mori, quail egg? That can't be good. But you'd be surprised. At the lunches, school lunches, right, when I was teaching scythe swinging, we would often have really delicious udon with quail egg. It's really just like a hard-boiled egg, except smaller and a little more savory, but it's delicious. I highly recommend it. Yeah. But Japan has all kinds of different noodles, right? And they have all kinds of different specialties. Of course, soba is also very delicious, right? Soba is delicious and healthy. Ramen, on the other hand, is a bit more like pizza. It's the pizza of Japan if you really think about it. But if you want good udon, go to Shikoku. Shikoku is, it's the smallest of the main Japanese islands. That's where you can find Kagawa. Now be ready, because this is very deep countryside in Japan. No one will speak English. So you'll need to learn a little Japanese. Make sure you get a pocket Wi-Fi with you. Wi-Fi. You might lose signal here and there. There are some mountains. But Shikoku, it's worth it for the nice ryokan and udon. Yup, there's also a lot of different udon. Yaki udon, curry udon, tempura udon. All kinds of delicious things. But to be honest, if you want to try everything, you will find it in Osaka, even if they don't specialize in it. Bring a Japanese friend along. You've been to more places than Japanese. No, maybe. I just like to travel around a lot. Pocket Wi-Fi. Pocket Wi-Fi. Udon is the best noodle in your opinion. If I had to rank them, personally, I don't think that udon would be my top, but I definitely do like it a lot. How do you get Japanese friends? I made them on Twitter. And they became my real life friends when I went to Japan. I was into the same bands as a lot of my Japanese friends on Twitter. We would comment on different things and I would draw fan art of the same bands that we liked. And then they'd comment on it and I would reply to them. Yeah. That was how I made friends. Do you like tsukemen? I do. If I know a really good tsukemen restaurant. For those that don't know, tsukemen is noodles that you dip into broth. It's like ramen that you have to do yourself, kind of, but it's like dipping noodles. You know, tsukemen's good. But yeah, if you guys want to make Japanese friends, you know, there are a lot of holo fans that are into the ENs as well, right? What is going on here? My internet has not disconnected at all. It can't be. It can't be. My model hasn't stopped moving. I mean, my face has not stopped moving. It says here the connection's okay. I don't understand. Oh well. Let us pray. The goddess of death. Wi-Fi. No, my VPN is not on. It is not on. Hold up. Like dipping soba. ちょっと待って JP guys. You dropped out for a moment. That's alright, I'm back. Glitching into the matrix. 怖くないで. Anyway. ExpressVPN time. No VPN. No VPN. 頑張れ. But if it really was a net problem, then I wouldn't be seeing myself move. This is weird. Well, let me see. Also, last I checked, upload was at 30, which is more than enough. But let's see, what's the bitrate? Oh, bitrate is okay. I can change it here actually. All right, I can change it without stopping the stream. Maybe that'll help a bit. Anyway, continuing onward, I think that my rating for noodles in Japan would be, ramen would be at the top, then soba, then, maybe it's tsukemen over soba, and then udon. But that doesn't mean that I don't like udon, especially if it's curry udon. Love some curry udon. That's some really good stuff. Yeah, that's the good stuff. Curry udon. But basically, if there's any Japanese food that you want to try, you need to go to Osaka. Even if it's not their specialty, they will have it. And they will have a restaurant that's good at it. So, make sure that in your Japan trip, you leave some time to go to Osaka. By Shinkansen, that's the bullet train, it's about 2 hours, 2.5? 2 to 2.5 hours. Would highly recommend. And you should go during fall because the weather is amazing. And additionally, if you want some ryokan in the countryside, which are kind of more traditional Japanese hotels, you should grab them during fall because a lot of them, especially if you go to Hakone, will have beautiful autumn leaves out in the hills that you can look at, and the views and the nature are just amazing. And a lot of these ryokan are out in the middle of nature. So, and Hakone isn't that hard to travel to either. There are plenty of really express trains that go specifically from Tokyo to Hakone. Check out the Shibuya Romance car. Easy to remember because romance. It's romantic. The views especially. So you can go from Shibuya to Hakone and it'll take you straight to the onsen area's main station. And from there a lot of shuttles go to the various hotels and ryokan. Where does that name come from? Romance car? Who could say? I think the Japanese just thought it was romantic. Anyway, Nikko in Tochigi is also nice in fall. Yes, correct. Nikko is also very, very traditional Japanese. But I think there's still some things here and there that might be in English, and people here and there might be able to help you. But of course, definitely recommend it if you want some of the more traditional stuff, right? Now, of course, we get to my favorite season to visit Japan. You guessed it. Winter. Onsen, 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 and Hokkaido trip because there's a snow festival. I've been to Hokkaido many times in winter just to experience the full brunt of the snow. Additionally, to go to a place called Jozanke. Jozanke is an onsen village. There are a gazillion different types of onsen. There are really high-class resorts. There are more traditional ryokan. That was where Kiwawa and I went a long time ago. And it's amazing to be able to go to an onsen and then sit in their outdoor large bath and just watch the snow fall. Really quite amazing. I wonder if Callie likes onsen. I love onsen. They're beautiful and romantic and snowy in the winter time. And Hokkaido's got the best onsen. Hakone onsen are not that bad either. Now the snow festival, it had been cancelled for quite a few years because of the state of the world I wouldn't say recently, in the past couple years. But I don't think that the snow festival will be cancelled from here on out. So for those of you that are still kind of on the fence about going to Japan, there's still time to plan for a winter trip, to check out the snow festival, and they have all kinds of different ice sculptures. So if you guys are into seeing things like beautiful ice sculptures, you should come to Japan to check those out. Especially because there are so many different festivals as well happening in Hokkaido. So, a snow lantern festival in a place called Otaru. Otaru in Hokkaido. It's not that far away from Sapporo, maybe like an hour and a half. But transportation isn't that difficult. There are tons of buses and shuttles that go to different places. In Otaru, they have this really nice boat ride that takes you through the river when the snow is falling down, and the residents of Otaru kind of make their own festivals. Not festivals, lanterns for the festival. What is going on with the internet? What is going on? Let me find out when the snow festival is happening. In Hokkaido. Let's see, the Sapporo Snow Festival is held annually in Sapporo, Japan over 7 days in February. Oh, so it usually happens in February, it would seem. Let me see if I can figure out the exact date. Let's see. I think it just depends, and you'll need to look it up, but it seems like February. I think that they may change it every year, depending upon the weekend, etc. Let's see. I don't really have anything else running, so... There's usually a big Hatsune Miku snow sculpture. You guys need to go to Hokkaido and get a picture of that. Anyway. Some old photos of Ice Sculpture Festival. I'm definitely going to check it out myself. Oh, I'll go check it out. Honestly, I feel like Sapporo is full of really fun stuff to do. They also have fantastic soup curry. Soup curry is just so delicious. All kinds of yummy vegetables and chicken, and it's in this kind of, it's like a soup form of curry, right? Alright, let me lower the bit rate yet again. I already lowered it really low. I'll put it down to 2000. Good quality. How about medium quality? Can we do that? Can we do medium quality? Audio bit rate? How about 160? Would that be okay? Anyway. Curry soup sounds good. It's quite delicious, and a lot of times restaurants will let you choose what you want to put in, and you can choose the spice level. Of course, I choose the mildest one, just because I really want to savor the flavor of the curry and the vegetables, but I could try a hotter one. I'm sure I could. Have you checked out the festival? When I was in Kamakura, I wish we'd known ahead of time what was going on. We could have planned better. Well, I mean, I feel like that sounds like a happy little accident, right? Best place to eat eel in Japan? Oh, that's a good question. Unagi-don is a big recommendation a lot of people have, and I've also tried unagi-don, which is like eel on top of rice. You just have to use the internet, I think, to find the place with the best reviews, because there are some places that have great unagi-don and places that are just awful. Just really, really don't taste very good. Right? Right? I mean, that's how I found the best places. With unagi-don, I just used the internet. I just looked it up myself and was like, oh, there's a place nearby that has some decent unagi-don. I'll go try it, and it was delicious. But if you want to go to some of the really popular places, you might have to wait in line, because there are a lot of really hungry Japanese businesswomen and men who want to get their fix of unagi-don before returning to work. So, get ready for that. Yeah. Unagi don't. Mori Calliope. So, カレー好き。カレーライス. Yep, you're experienced to make, I would say. So those are kind of, here, I'll leave them up for you so you guys can see and remember. It depends, like I said, the season that you go to Japan depends on what you want to experience. So you're going to have to choose from here, what's more important to you? Do you want to see sakura? Do you want to enjoy good weather? Are you okay with higher prices for travel and places to stay? Do you maybe want to go check out the flowers in Hokkaido? I'd recommend going in spring. If you're okay with the extreme heat and are more than happy to go if it means maybe lower prices, if you want to check out beaches and see beautiful fireworks, I'd recommend going in summer. As long as it's not during, what is it? Obon, I believe is the name of it. Hold on. Obon? Is it Obon? I forget. Everybody said it back in the day when I was teaching, but I forget the name of it. What? Monsoon for... Yeah, you don't want to go during June either. That's just not going to be fun in general. Yeah, it's Obon. Yeah. It's kind of like it's not like Golden Week, it's like Golden Week light. Pretty much. So you don't want to go during Obon, and you don't want to go in June. In June, it'll just be raining the whole time. In Obon, everybody will be traveling. So look up those dates and just be careful. Yeah. But bear in mind that August and September are going to be ridiculously hot. If you're more into like beautiful nature views, maybe you want to check out an onsen, you want to see more of Japan than just Tokyo, I'd recommend going in fall. And if you want to enjoy onsen and if you're definitely planning on visiting Hokkaido, I would recommend going in wintertime. Additionally, you don't have to only go to Hokkaido. There's a place really close to Sendai that is really quite popular. I'm trying to remember the name of it. If I look on the map, I bet I can find it. Sendai is in the sort of northeast of Japan, but it's not, it's much lower than Hokkaido. Let's see, hold on. It's close to Akita, I believe. What was the name of it? It's around Akita. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. I'm sure somebody in chat might know, but there's a really famous village around there that people take a lot of pictures of when they go, and it's always booked out. All of the ryokan are booked completely out. Wait, no, it's Yamagata. It's Yamagata. So it's in Yamagata, and if you go to Yamagata to enjoy the onsen during winter, it is going to be completely packed unless, it's always going to be packed, but you will not be able to get a place there unless you plan extra early. But it's worth it. And the view is just incredible. I would really recommend checking it out if you're able to. Let's see. Onsen. Yeah, it's in Yamagata. Affable Sendai. Ginzan. That's what it is. Ginzan. Dark Master, you knew what it was. Ginzan. Ginzan Onsen in Yamagata. Yeah. I feel like Josanke is the more underrated version up in Hokkaido, but if you don't really want to go necessarily to a completely different island in Japan, I'd recommend maybe checking out Ginzan, but you're going to have to make really early reservations. It'll be worth it though. The scenery is beautiful and you feel like you're living in a Ghibli movie, in a fairy tale. It's really quite amazing. So I would recommend. But if you want to be spontaneous as well, that's fine. I think that if you want a spontaneous Japan trip, fall is the best time to go. Prices aren't that bad at that time. Weather is nice, very decent. Nature is beautiful, so no matter where you go, it's going to be pretty. Yeah, so overall, I'd say fall is probably the best time to go. If you really want a concrete time, if you want me to tell you a very concrete time in which you should go, right? Oh, what's happening to my slides? There we go. There are my slides. Anyway, I feel like I've already given you guys some really good food tips, but I guess I can go ahead and reiterate for you if you'd like. When you're in Japan, there are some foods that you definitely have to try, right? Obviously ramen. What kind of ramen? Well, it depends on what you like, right? Because there are a gazillion different types of ramen. There's miso ramen, shoyu ramen. So, okay, I guess I should define that stuff. Sorry about that. Miso ramen is my favorite. If you've ever tried miso soup before, you may kind of know what the flavor is. If you don't like the miso flavor, though, I really don't think you're going to taste it in the miso ramen very strongly. It's only enough so that it becomes very savory. It's not necessarily just straight up a miso soup taste. You know? I mean, I like miso soup for breakfast, but that's about it. I don't want it at other times. But miso ramen has a special savory quality to it. Sometimes they make it with butter and corn. Yeah. What if I like spicy? Well, thankfully, at most ramen places, they actually have some good spice that you can add in yourself, or they have a spicy option. You see, in Japan, they actually have sort of vending machine ticket-like contraptions that will give you a ticket like a vending machine. You basically look at it, you choose which ramen you want, you click it, you put in the money, and it gives you a ticket like a vending machine. They usually have like a spicy version of their signature ramen. Yeah. Miso ramen is best, I know, right? Tonkotsu is also very popular. I feel like tonkotsu is really good in Kyushu, which is the very, very western part of Japan. Kagoshima, Nagasaki, Fukuoka. Okay. Reconnection successful. There's gonna be some very loud fan noises, but it is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do. Alright. Hopefully being on turbo mode will help. No data, okay. No data? Are we sure about that? Are we sure? Where's my chat? Where's my chat? Oh, there it is. Okay. They're back. I was talking about ramen. They do usually have a spicy type of ramen available for anybody who wants it, but most ramen shops are actually very simplistic, I feel. They've got like their signature ramen and like that's kind of it. You can choose like the mini version, which has less meat and maybe no egg, and then they have an option that's got like hard-boiled egg in there, or rather soft-boiled egg. Wait, no, the outside's, the white part is hard, but then the inside's kind of melty, right? They have those kinds. Yeah, a lot of ramen shops, they don't really have a gazillion different menu options, which I notice is a big kind of difference from America, is that I feel like in America, we really love to have a gazillion options on the menu, just in case somebody wants whatever, right? But in Japan, they're just kind of like, nope, this is what we make. If you want it, come here to get it, and that's it. Yeah, soft-boiled ramen egg, very good. Very yummy. Eat the outside, let the inside kind of drip over the ramen. Very delicious. Yeah, so shio ramen is a more, I'd say shio ramen, which is salt ramen, and shoyu ramen, which is soy sauce ramen, are sort of the more like light versions of ramen. If you want something that's heavier and more on the rich side, I'd say tonkotsu or miso ramen are the ones to check out. I'm not the biggest fan of tonkotsu ramen, just because especially when you walk around those ramen shops, you'll know it's tonkotsu ramen because it kind of smells funny. It's a little stinky, you know, because they're boiling the pork bone. Tonkotsu, yeah, pork bone. I'm not the biggest fan. I like miso. Miso ramen, and then I wasn't the biggest fan of shio ramen in the past, but I've grown to like it, especially ebi shio, which is with little shrimpies. If they clean the shrimp, if they really like take care of the shrimp, tastes good. I recommend. Yeah. And then of course, tsukemen is the version of ramen where you dip the noodles into the broth. So that's a ramen slash tsukemen. And udon. You want to try all those noodles. Don't forget soba either. Soba is more on the healthy side. If you're really like okay with having like something that's on the more healthy side, I really recommend soba with tempura. And they make all kinds of things into tempura, like jumbo shrimp, vegetables too. Daikon, which is a Japanese vegetable. It's got a bunch of holes in it, like Swiss cheese. Yeah, soba with tempura. Now, tempura isn't necessarily healthy per se, because it is, I don't know, I wouldn't call it really a fried thing. Like a deep, well, it's kind of, you put batter on it, you fry it up. But it's not like fried in the same way that fried things are in America, right? Yeah, it's like a big radish, precisely. I personally, I don't know if, maybe it's because I kind of have like a strict view on like what is considered like healthy. I personally don't view tempura as the most healthy option, but if you're going to choose between ramen and then soba with tempura and you want to be healthy, go with soba with tempura. It's also extremely classic, very, very Japanese. Tonkatsu. Tonkatsu DJ Agetaro. tonkatsu, which sounds very suspiciously close to tonkotsu, but no relation. Tonkatsu is basically it's the sliced up breaded meat that you may have seen in various places. You eat it with cabbage, with some rice, depends on what you order. Put some yummy tonkatsu sauce on it. I've personally had different types of tonkatsu. I've had chicken tonkatsu before, even though most of the time I think it's with pork that you enjoy pork tonkatsu. Pork cutlets. You can get roast, which includes a bit of fat on the end. A lot of Japanese people enjoy eating the type that has like a little bit of fat, a champion bowl, a little bit of fat on the end of it, right? I personally order filet, the hirekatsu, which is no fat. I don't like eating that. My American ass is not used to eating just straight up like this is the fat of the animal. So I get hirekatsu. Pork cutlets are great, very yum, and especially there's something about eating it with the saku cabbage. It's like it just goes together so perfectly. Whoever in Japan thought of eating the saku cabbage along with the tonkatsu is a genius. There's something about that sort of, I don't want to say oily, but like more rich and flavorful meat, breaded meat, along with the crunchy and refreshing cabbage that works so well. Wash it down with some hojicha, which is it's a Japanese tea. It's a barley tea. It's very, if you drink it hot, it's perfect for winter time because there's something almost Christmassy about it. Yeah, shredded cabbage, correct. It's not just leaves of cabbage. It's shredded up. Not a fan of eating the fat parts. That's okay, you can just get the filet katsu instead of the roast. It balances out the meal. Katsudon, umai ne. Love katsudon. I haven't eaten katsudon in too long. It's been months since I've had katsudon. I need to get some. What else would I recommend that you must try? Yakiniku. Yakiniku. I had to explain this to some friends in the States recently because, yakiniku isn't something that's just known everywhere. It's something that you might kind of need to explain because the name itself directly translates to yaki, being grilled, and niku, which is meat, right? So it's grilled meat. And you basically do it yourself unless you go to a really, really high-class place where they're like, no, we insist, we'll do it for you. And typically they have all kinds of different options on the menu. And it's a really nice thing to do with friends. When you gather around, you guys want to go eat yakiniku, grill together. You can get various things. Like I always recommend trying out tongue. I think a lot of people are like, ooh, tongue, that's yucky, gross, but it's really not. It's not like what you think it is. It's not just like they cut off the tongue and just slap it on the grill. It's not like that. It's like they slice it up very like thinly, sort of. And only just the best part of the tongue. Gyutang, exactly. And it's really quite tasty. It doesn't taste gamey or gross or anything. I really recommend trying it once if you've never tried it before. You might be surprised. It's not chewy. The texture is good. It's like a little savory. Yeah. I mean, I've never found it to be too chewy. Maybe more so than people that indulge in like a really high quality steak that just melts in your mouth. I mean, tongue isn't just going to melt in your mouth, but it's not like you're eating horomon, right? Horomon is stuff on the menu that's kind of like the tendons and like sort of more organ-like parts of the animal. They're very fatty, very oily. If you put them on the grill, they're going to make a lot of noise, and those are extremely chewy. You really can't get a bite out of those. I never order that. Some of my Japanese friends like to order those things, but I just kind of don't touch them. However, there are a lot of choices like, just regular roast, or I would say if you're more on like the non-adventurous side, I'd recommend looking for something called jorosu, which is the higher level roast, higher level red meat. Jorosu, and also they might have hire, which is filet, right? I'd say you get jotang, which is the higher up tongue. Jo meaning like higher class, like it's higher quality, right? So jotang. Now harami tastes to me just like regular red meat. So I'd recommend getting harami, even though it's technically an organ, but I mean, I never noticed, so whatever. It's kind of classified as one, but it's really just red meat to me. And then karubi as well. Jo karubi, which is high-level karubi. Yeah. So I recommend. I love tendons. Well, a lot of people do enjoy the tendons, so I recommend getting that as well if you like something kind of chewy, if you're adventurous and you like something oily, chewy, more on the fatty side. A lot of people enjoy horomon. So, anyway. You don't want to French kiss a cow? It's not like that. If you're French kissing somebody, you're not going to eat their tongue. Very different. What about Genghis Khan? So, that's definitely something you should try out in Hokkaido. Sheep. Not really my taste, personally, but also said to be quite delicious. And for dessert, there's too much good stuff. Mochi, of course. If you go to any konbini, which is a convenience store, if you go to any of those and just open up the ice cream freezer, you're going to find something interesting and yummy. If you want something basic, in terms of ice cream, right? But depending upon the restaurant that you go to, some places, I mean, I feel like they like to really show off the more like Japanese dessert side, depending on where you go. I've seen a lot of places that have great matcha ice cream, which is very mochi with what's the name of it? Sorry, that was my neck. You usually get like some tea with mochi, some Japanese sweets, wagashi, mitarashi dango. Konbini ice cream is sick. Yeah, when in doubt, if you're really looking for something on the go, go to the convenience store. It's not like the 7-Eleven in America, where things are kind of inedible. No. Konbini is full of edible things that will make you very happy. So yeah, yakiniku is a great thing to do with friends, and usually a lot of places have nomi hodai, which is all you can drink. So just gather the beers around, grill some meat with your friends, and just have the most fantastic time. It's really a great thing to indulge in with your friends and large groups of people. If you're in Osaka, okonomiyaki. And they have many different kinds too. In fact, Hiroshima has their own special kind of okonomiyaki as well. Some of them are a little more focused on having cabbage. Some of them have noodles in them. It really just depends on where you are. And that's something really awesome about Japan, is that even though they have like very distinct different places with their different types of food and specialties, you can find a lot of the same dishes that have their own spin depending upon where you go, right? I went to Kumamoto once, and I went to this cute old lady's okonomiyaki restaurant, and she had her own special okonomiyaki that she said was, just a Kumamoto special. And I was like, wow, I won't eat this in Osaka because I'm here in Kumamoto. So, okonomiyaki and takoyaki for you Osaka freaks over here. Additionally, there's a great crab restaurant in Osaka. If you're in Dotonbori, which is the place that is described as the kitchen of Japan, right? Japan's kitchen, Dotonbori. They have every kind of food that you could ever dream of in Japan that you would want to try and eat, right? There's like a big crab sign that's moving. You can go to that restaurant, and they have delicious crab courses, but you're going to need to reserve in advance. Now, you'd be surprised, a lot of these more like well-known places, they actually might have an English like table check or something like that. Table check is a website where you can reserve. You can make reservations in whatever your language is. And even if it's not in English, you can still do a little Google translating. A lot of these more popular shops, especially in Tokyo, if you just look them up and look up reservation, you might be surprised how many of them have a place where you can just do a reservation on the internet. Kani-sama, yes, Kani-sama. That's where I went. I went to the big crab restaurant. It was amazing when I was in Osaka. But takoyaki, interestingly enough, is better enjoyed on the street. You'd be surprised what kind of food stalls you can find selling takoyaki, and they're just delicious. Just walking down the street. It is street food after all. rolled up octopus ball. You can usually choose if you want to put mayo on it or not. It's not really a requirement. I have been to Dotonbori. It's one of the best places on earth. I have to agree with you, my good man. Anything you could ever want to eat. And even if you're somebody that doesn't really want to try Japanese food and would rather stick to something more on the Western side, you'll still find Western restaurants there. You can find anything you want. Anything you want. I want to visit a stall on the side of the street. There are lots of them. You'll find them. Yakuza 0 makes me want to try that. And they're very friendly too. Run by a lot of older folk, etc. Really nice. I leave for Japan on Sunday. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you get lots of street food. If you're looking for street food though in Tokyo, that might be a bit harder. There are plenty of alleyways that have little like shops that you can pop into that are like izakaya. Izakaya being a place where you can drink and eat food that's more on like the snack food side. Edamame, takoyaki they probably also may have. French fries with your friends is mostly for drinking. The food is really cheap because they assume that you're going to buy a ton of drinks, right? In izakaya. And a ton of little restaurants that you can pop into, especially in the more touristy areas. But I feel like if you really want to enjoy the street food experience, you're going to need to go to Osaka. That's just where it's really going to thrive for you and make it worth it. So that would be my recommendation. Like McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's. Yada. No McDonald's, no Burger King, no Wendy's. None of that. You stay away from those places. You get plenty of those at home. Arigato! Akaspa arigato! Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival. Ara. Nice. They have holo songs? Hell yeah. Thank you. KFC really pops off during the holiday season. You have to reserve chicken. Yep. You have to reserve special chicken boxes. I once tried to get holiday chicken from KFC during the holiday season. I was too late. I did not reserve it in time. I reserved it the morning, it's Christmas Eve morning. All gone. Yeah, they do not mess around. Japanese people do not mess around when it comes to KFC chicken, but you guys don't need to worry about that. Don't worry about that. That's not what you want to try. However, I will say if you are planning on going during a holiday, be ready for things to be closed. They will be closed. Japanese people don't give a fuck. They're like, hey, it's a holiday. We'll be closed. Die, idiot. It's just like that. Is Burger King better than the US Burger King? All of the fast food restaurants are better, in my opinion, in Japan, simply because, how do I say, the quality is just better. Things are cleaner, things are presented nicer. It may still be the same ingredients, but it feels like it was made by somebody who cared about their job and not losing it. So, that's why I would say. That's why I would say maybe try a fast food restaurant once if you're coming to visit Japan, just to see how it's different, you know? Going to Tokyo soon, any recommendations? Oh, lots of recommendations. We haven't really gotten to like the locations that I recommend you see quite yet. We're still on food, but let me see. What else would I recommend that you try? I feel like convenience store food is not really like a straight recommendation. It's just an offhanded comment of mine that you should go give it a try. When you're walking around, kind of getting tired, your feet are getting tired, and you're like, I want to sit somewhere and enjoy a nice snack. You'd be surprised. Just open up your little phone, whatever gadget you're hauling around with you, look up a little place, like look at your map, see where the nearest park is, find a convenience store next to it, go grab a croquet or like some famichiki, just Family Mart chicken, something hot. You can even grab a beer if you want. You can walk around and drink alcohol as you please in Japan. Take it to the park where there are children playing. No one freaking cares. Just drink. Enjoy your brewski. Eat a croquet. Just live your Gaikokujin life. Very easy to do. There's this weird rivalry between convenience stores too. I feel there's Family Mart, Lawson, 7-Eleven are constantly at arms with each other. And then there's the sort of like lesser mini stop that's like, hey guys, I'm here for the fight too. And those three titans are like, nah, shut up. Family Mart versus Lawson versus 7-Eleven. Don't worry too much about which one you choose, but the hot stuff that you buy at the different places will be different depending upon where you choose. In terms of the place with the best warm food to eat, I think that I would rank it Family Mart number 1, Lawson number 2, 7-Eleven number 3. But it really depends. It depends on when you go. Have they been stocking their food? Is it late at night? Because late at night they turn off the ovens. You can't get the delicious warm things. Oh, but you know what's really nice? If you go during wintertime, they serve oden. Now, I don't think... Here, I'm going to put oden on here because it's just that good. So, oden... How do I even describe oden? I feel like I'm not going to describe it in a way that sounds appetizing. You don't have to get fish cake in your oden. You can basically choose what you put inside of it, right? Inside of your oden. Oden is a type of nabemono. Of course. Nabe... being pot. It's kind of like a hot pot sort of thing. Japanese one-pot dish consisting of several ingredients such as boiled eggs, daikon, konjac, and fish cake. Usually I choose to get 2 eggs for my oden and then a couple daikon. They have some noodles as well that they can put in there, these wrapped up noodles. I really recommend it. More like, oh damn, it's warm savory goodness, correct? And perfect for winter time as well. It just makes you feel so warm inside, and they sell it at convenience stores for a nice price. So, I mean, honestly, you're getting a full meal there for a great price, and you don't have to go to a restaurant. It's really amazing. Yeah, konjac noodles are so yummy. Yup. Quite delicious. Hot pot. Fish cake is best cake. Chikwa. You know, chikwa is actually pretty good. I've gotten into it. The longer that I've lived in Japan, the more I've gotten into the fish cake stuff. It's really not that bad. Orimoros. Lawson, oshi. Famima, oshi. 7-Eleven, oshi. Oden, not odin. Not odin, oden. Konjac saiko. Saiko desu. How friendly is Japan to traveling on foot, especially through the countryside? Countryside might be tough. I'd recommend a bike or renting your own car. And renting a car in Japan is not as difficult as you may think. You just need to go get an international license, which is not that difficult. It might take just a day of your time in the States, right? Grab an international license. All you need to do is have your own license and go in and grab it. Just get it stapled to your... What did I get mine stapled to? Because I've driven in Japan before. What did I get it stapled to? I don't think it was my passport. I had to carry it around with me everywhere that I went. But yeah, I'd really recommend renting a car. It is not as difficult as you might think it is. Just need an international driver's license. Heck, you can rent on something like booking.com, just all in English, and then just go to the address that they give you, give them your license, show them your name and whatever, and they'll just give you the keys to the car. It's very, very easy to do. If you want to go to the countryside and enjoy, I'd really recommend doing that. Walking on foot is just not the easiest. Plenty of people do it, but you really need to be ready for it and make sure that you absolutely have a pocket Wi-Fi with you, because you're going to want to be able to call somebody to help in case anything happens, right? Another thing I'd recommend is getting an app on your phone called Go Taxi. Go Taxi is a really good application for just if you're in a pinch and you need to grab a taxi, perhaps you missed your train, you took the wrong train, trains aren't running anymore, etc. Go Taxi is the way to go. And they actually have, if you download it and you're an English speaker, it will show up in English on your phone. Input your card info or pay in cash, either way that you want to do. Go Taxi. If that doesn't work, if there are no taxis showing up with Go Taxi, get something called Didi, D-I-D-I. It's another taxi app. Usually I have both of them running at the same time if I'm running late and I really need a taxi. Just use those two. Those two, yeah. And grab a pocket Wi-Fi. Of course, you really should get one. The first time that I was in Japan, I was super worried because before I even went, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be alone. I'm gonna die. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But all I really had to do is just get a pocket Wi-Fi and you're safe. Just know that you are safe with that constant internet access. Especially those of you guys who are holo fans that have made Japanese holo fan friends. If you get lost, go on Twitter and say, hey, someone help. Now, I can't recommend that just any old stranger is going to be safe. Maybe don't connect with that, but you may never know. A mutual that you've been talking to for a long time might be like, hey, I live around here, like I know what that area is, let me give you some advice, let me give you like some tips, etc. Help. You'd be surprised. You gotta do karaoke with them too, so you guys can sing your favorite holo songs, right? Come on, you guys gotta connect. Sing some holo music together at karaoke. Karaoke in Japan is really great because it's a lot of them, I think most of them are 24 hours. There are a lot of 24-hour karaoke. So if you get stuck out in the wilderness and you can't return to your hotel, you don't feel like buying a trip with a taxi, all the trains have stopped running, just go to a karaoke box and sleep or sing until the morning. They serve drinks, they serve food. The seats are nice and cozy, so if you really need to sleep, you could. Hit the convenience store, buy 3 t-shirts, make a blanket. It is ridiculously easy to survive in Japan as a traveler. Or manga cafe, that is true. Internet cafes are also fun. I think I've stayed in an internet cafe twice in my lifetime. In between events that I was wanting to go see, I'd have like 8-hour gaps where I'm like, well, now I'm in this new city that I've never been to in Japan. What should I do? This thing I want to see isn't until 8 hours later. Am I just going to tool around? So I'd go to a manga cafe or an internet cafe. A lot of times they have price sheets that like they can use to like point. Be like, hey, this is the price for this many hours. They try to work with you. They really will. Especially in Tokyo, people will really try to communicate with you. So never worry too much about it. Capsule beds are very cheap. Yeah, I really recommend staying at a capsule hotel at least once during your time in Japan, just for the novelty of it. They're clean, they're safe, and they're just novel. You gotta try it at least once, I think. One time is okay. Let's see, I recommended oden. What else do I love going out to get every once in a while in Japan? Japan does some international food really good. They can't make sandwiches to save their lives. That's the only thing that I will say about Japanese food. I've never had a good sandwich in Japan, but I have high expectations as a big fan of sub sandwiches. Another reason why I dog on Crony all the time for the Subway. For the Subway. Pizza is okay. It's not like the States. It really isn't. But in some ways that's good. Again, it's very similar to fast food version, right? So for example, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, etc. in Japan is like, it's like a little too clean and orderly, right? Maybe, possibly, potentially. Pizza is also very, very orderly, very well put together, very clean, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it affects the taste. So who cares? Whatever, right? And they have a bunch of different flavors. They have like corn on their pizza in Japan, interestingly enough. They love their corn pizza. And I've tried it. I prefer it to pineapple, I would say. But they always have a gazillion different flavors, and pizza is very, very, very expensive in Japan. Your $15 Domino's pizza, if you get like a large in America, right? That's maybe like $20-ish. No. Your medium pizza in Japan is gonna cost you about $30. Corn on pizza isn't bad. It's fine. But yeah, it's really expensive. Both Pizza Hut and Domino's No way. No way. Just, yeah, it's, pizza is like a fancy dish in Japan. I say fancy, maybe not fancy. It's expensive. You what? Yeah. They can keep it for that price. And see, that's why I recommend you go out and get some ramen. Get some ramen that's gonna cost you, let me think, 1,000 yen, $8. Huge bowl of delicious noodles, vegetables, pork, soft-boiled egg, incredible rich flavor that you can only taste in Japan. Yeah, just forget the pizza. Just go get ramen. Just get the things on this list. I'm trying to think what else I would recommend. Sushi, duh. I feel like sushi might be like the first thing that everybody recommends. Oh boy. Are we cutting out again? Yeah, barameya. Oh boy. Here we go. Dang it. We were doing so good. We were doing so good. I feel like the quality is like maintained itself, but occasionally things still pop off. Excuse me for that, but last time I streamed here, it really had no problems, but I don't know. I think these relatives aren't really interested in the most perfect internet still. I don't care. I want to stream. In terms of sushi, I feel like in America, a lot of people have kind of learned to see sushi as like just this kind of, oh yeah, whatever, cool Japanese food, like just go out anytime, enjoy casually. But the truth is, sushi in Japan, unless it's conveyor belt sushi, it's really more on the same level as like a fancy steak dinner. So if you want like really good sushi, be prepared to pay a lot of money and make reservations in advance if you want the really good stuff. And by really good stuff, I mean these guys go hard. I've had great sushi, I've had awful sushi, I've had conveyor belt sushi. I wouldn't put conveyor belt sushi anywhere near the typical, the actual typical sushi place. It really is a little more on like the fancy side. It's expensive and they pay a lot of attention to their craft. There are different kinds of sushi as well. It's not really just the typical rolled up, like in a maki roll sushi. There's a lot of, for example, there's some called nigiri, which is raw fish on top of rice and wrapped with like one little like line of nori, which is seaweed, right? And various different kind of fish. Of course, you can try all kinds of different ones. Like there's salmon, there's tuna, hotate. That's not oyster, that's scallop, I think. Yeah. Abalone. Bologna. One of those. Really quite good. They put like anything. Uni as well. I think some of you guys like sea urchin. I'm not a big fan of sea urchin unless it's like really, really high quality, top quality sea urchin. Like to the point where like it tastes sweet. That level of like high quality sea urchin. There's a lot of sushi that might kind of be like yucky to some people. I remember I had, I think it was called hotaru sushi. That was like, I think that translates to firefly. Hotaru, I'm pretty sure that, but what it is it's kind of like a mini squid. Hotaru. Firefly, correct. But basically it's a firefly squid. So like they light up in the sea, right? But they're just these tiny squid. And when I went to get really fancy sushi, they just gave it to me. The sushi chef just handed it to me. It was like, eat it. And I'm like, okay. And it's just a little squid and you eat it whole. Yeah, firefly squid. Yeah. Yeah. ホタルイカ。そうだね。Something like that. ホタルイカ. I've had jellyfish before. Very crunchy. Delicious. That sounds neat. I didn't dislike the squid. It was just it was interesting to me, like eating it whole. Just eating the whole thing. And there's a lot of that in Japan, especially with sushi, where you just gotta do it. I've seen some of my Japanese friends just like, for example, eating like prawns or like shrimp, for example, and they just eat the whole thing. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Like they don't leave anything behind. Crunchy jellyfish? Yeah. Actually, the tentacles. It depends on how it's prepared, but all the times that I've had jellyfish, it's been rather crunchy. Yeah, it is really difficult to picture. Jellyfish salad is great, I agree. Yeah, the texture of the tentacles really works well with the lettuce. Jellyfish is so good, especially with soy sauce and sesame oil. Yeah, I recommend that people try it at least once. But yeah, I recommend that if you want to have one night to get sushi, maybe you should have like a day where you enjoy some conveyor belt sushi for lunch. Because that's really quite fun. That's like a very fun, authentically Japanese experience where you still get to try some decently good sushi. And no matter what, even if it's conveyor belt, it's still going to be better than America. So grab some conveyor belt sushi and then maybe reserve in advance a nice sushi place. And if you don't have a friend in Japan to make a reservation for you, which is fine, you're bound to find a really high quality sushi place on the internet that is so famous that they likely have a way in English to make a reservation online, but you're going to need to do it a couple months in advance. So just get ready. Yeah, get ready for that. Conveyor belt is quality for cheap, definitely. I agree 100% with that. I'd say it's some of the more high quality food that you can get for cheap in Japan. Somebody mentioned on Twitter that that they like to recommend when people like come into Japan, the first thing they ought to do is go grab some curry from some place like Koko Ichiban, right, to just get some energy. And I agree with that. It's like a good way to like get not exhausted and start off your food journey with something that isn't necessarily overwhelmingly good, but it's still like a Japanese thing to experience. Because Koko Ichiban, I know that they have it outside of Japan now, but it's good to just like have a taste of it while you're in Japan. You know, it's like a nice like starting off meal. You don't need every single meal that you're enjoying in Japan to be like super high quality, just the best, highly recommended ramen, soba, tonkatsu, yakiniku, okonomiyaki, and takoyaki, oden, sushi, etc. You don't need to do that. But if you're gonna choose between McDonald's and Koko Ichiban, go with Koko Ichiban. Oh yeah. It's nice and filling and will give you some energy to continue your journey, while at the same time, you have some time to get relaxed. I'd always recommend that the day that you come into Japan, don't plan to do anything. You're going to be dying from jet lag. You'll be wanting to chill and get your bearings straight, right? It's a good time to hit the convenience store and grab like toiletries that you're going to need. If you forgot your toothbrush, toothpaste, etc., Konbini's gonna have all that stuff. Just have your first day be like a chill day. Traveling is hard, yeah. It is very difficult. But you can definitely, make a little stop for Koko Ichiban in the middle of all that, right? Yeah. So, that's my recommend. Food tips. Let's see. What else do we have here? Hotel tips. This will be fast. In terms of hotels, right? I've stayed at every single kind of hotel in Japan that you can imagine. And for various reasons, I kind of wanted to name like exact places, but I just can't. So what I'm going to do is talk to you about the types of different places that you can stay at in Japan, right? So I would say there may be 4 different types of accommodations that you can find in Japan, okay? There's the highest of the high level, fancy, ritzy hotels. Ritz-Carlton, the Prince, the Peninsula, okay, I'm naming places. These are not places I've necessarily gone to, but they're just the fine hotels that everybody knows about because they tower over everybody else, right? And they're like internationally known places, Four Seasons, etc. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. Those ritzy places, okay? Not necessarily places that I've gone to, but because they're internationally renowned, like, you guys know, they're the kind of more hoity-toity, etc. But they're good quality. They are nice. I just don't really recommend doing that if you're planning to spend any long amount of time in Japan. It's just not... I mean, if you want to go check out the facilities that are there, like their restaurants, their spas, etc., I mean, they got nice stuff, but the longer you stay there, the more expensive it's going to be and the less money that you're going to be able to spend on other things that you want to enjoy, like your hobbies or delicious food or traveling further within Japan. So, unless you're like just rolling in money that you feel like you can just throw around and like don't care about, I still really wouldn't recommend. I just wouldn't grab those, but they're nice. They're beautiful. After that, we've got regular hotels, of which there are many. And thankfully, hotels in Japan are generally very clean, very chill, very accommodating. And if you're staying in Tokyo, almost all of them will speak English to some degree. It may not be fantastic, but it'll be enough to help you get to your room, and if you have any emergencies, they can help you out. So sleep in net cafes the whole time, got it. Hey, if you want to do that, you actually really can. I mean, you joke, but it's possible. If you're a mad lad, you can make it happen. Maybe a bit different, but actually I did stay at a capsule hotel the entire time one time I went to Japan, and it was perfectly fine and perfectly fun because I spent most of the time outside anyway. That's another thing that you really have to remember about your accommodation, right? Is that think about how much you're going to be doing outside. Do you really need to stay someplace that's super fancy if you're going to be outside the whole time, right? So, yeah, the rooms are half that of a hotel in the US, though I think it depends. I've been to plenty of regular hotels that are about the same size. It just depends on the room that you get. They're decently small, but again, remember, you're going to be outside for a lot of the time, unless you're planning on sleeping your whole trip away, which, you know, a day to sleep because of jet lag, understandable, but you might want to get on your feet at a certain point to make sure the trip is worth it, right? So regular hotels, I'd recommend using something simple like booking.com or something, not sponsored, but that's just kind of, I think, a really regular place that a lot of people use to check reviews, etc. Checking reviews is really important. You know, on sites like that, you can also very often check out what the rooms look like. They have the amenities listed out for you. And just scroll through, see what how many stars it is, see where it is on the map, etc. Yeah, I stayed at some decent hotels for fairly cheap. Yeah, they're really not too expensive. I think a lot of people talk about how, oh, Tokyo is like one of the most expensive places in the world. It isn't if you're smart. You just have to be smart and do your research beforehand. You can't just choose any old hotel, right? But there are plenty of regular hotels, and personally, I like to look for places that are a little charming, that have like a cute little charm point about them, like, oh, maybe this one has like a little traditional garden inside of it, or maybe this one has an onsen, public bath, just available for the guests, or maybe there's a place where like there's a big library or something like that. Little like charm points here and there, of which there are tons of regular hotels for good prices that have those cute little things about them. Yeah, it goes for any location, just be smart. Exactly, just be smart. You just gotta like look into that stuff, that kind of stuff yourself, I think, and just do some reading. Aren't those ryokan? Not quite, we're getting to those. Then I'd say the number three type of accommodation you can stay at is a hostel. Now, I know a lot of people cringe pretty hard when they hear like hostel and they think like hostile, you know, with the I. Or like, oh man, that's a dirty place where a bunch of randos gather and whatever, and I have to share space with them. Not quite. It's not quite like that. I don't know if I can speak much for now, because right now there's a huge influx of foreigners. coming into Japan. There are a ton of travelers, and I think that might kind of expand the pool of people that are coming in, so you might get some weirdos, but it can be, though. That's a good point. But again, you just have to read the reviews. All of the hostels that I have stayed at have been clean. Nobody messes with me. Nobody talks to me. Quite a few of them do have their own like private space. Like you get your own private area. The only thing that kind of sucks is you're gonna need to share it's like a public shower. You're not sharing the shower with people like at the same time. That's yucky. No, yucky, yada. But you're gonna need to wait your turn to go, or shower really early in the morning. Typically, because Japan is Japan, if anything like really weird happens, or like a strange encounter, or somebody is like being rude, if you tell the staff, like they'll get them out of there, like they will kick them out. But it just kind of doesn't happen. It's one of those things where like it just kind of doesn't happen. But you should still be on your guard and read the reviews. Obviously, don't stay at a hostel that's got a 1-star review. Only 1-star reviews. Like, come on, use your common sense. There are plenty that, they post the pictures of all the different people staying there, smiling together. They're very happy, very chill. However, I will say, no matter how many stars a place does have and how chill and how cheap it might be, if you're a person that is shy and introverted and really nervous about other people being in the same, space as you, even if you have your own curtain or private enclosed space, you should stay at a regular hotel. Don't go to a hostel. Hostels are dirt cheap. I've stayed some places where it was $15 a night, and they were nice, and they were clean, and they were chill. The staff was kind, etc. It sounds like a college dorm. However, if you have problems with anxiety, etc., and you need to be away from all of that, you need to think about yourself. What if I put in my sleep? Well, too bad for the other people in the room. That's suspiciously cheap. I mean, you say suspiciously, and that is true. It is a bit suspicious, but I'm okay, and I had no bad time, so it's pretty similar to a dorm, but again, all hostels have varying levels of privacy available. Some of them even have upgraded options where it really is just like a regular hotel, but maybe more simple, where you have your own private bathroom and you have your own private room that you can share with your friends or something like that. All options that you can look into. But if you really want to stay on the cheap in Japan, they are available to you. And I honestly recommend them. If it was any other country, maybe not. There's something about Japan. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But it's just, they're very chill and generally pretty cheap. Oh no, my sake, I'm pouring it all out. Put it down. But yeah. And then finally, ryokan. Number 4. The fourth type of accommodation I'm going to recommend to you is ryokan. Now, the reason that I keep it separate from all of the others is because ryokan are really just kind of on their own different level of place to stay. Simply because they really aren't like the others on various levels, actually. Ryokan 101. So, ryokan are traditional Japanese inns, basically. I find the best ryokan are in the countryside because the feeling matches the atmosphere of the outdoors, right? Ryokan. I forgot love hotels. We're not talking about love hotels. No. I'm one of the Tokyo tourism ambassadors, and I'm gonna tell you how to have some clean family fun. Okay? If you want to learn about love hotels, go on YouTube and look up love hotel. You'll find all you need to know. But the ambassador's not gonna tell you about those. I'm gonna tell you how to have some traditional family fun. So ryokan are traditional Japanese inns, right? You can start a family. Shut up. Family starting fun. Ha ha ha. Very cute. Traditional Japanese inns, basically. Most of them will have the staff bring you dinner and breakfast to your room. That's one big thing. Also, most of them, I would say all of them actually, by nature, have tatami mats, which are the traditional Japanese flooring, right? And you will typically sleep on the floor, but recently there have been ryokan that are implementing Western rooms where you have like a typical bed that you can sleep in, or one that's kind of lifted up and has a mattress, etc. You don't necessarily need to sleep on a futon on the ground, but it's just the more traditional way. So a lot of times when you walk into your ryokan, you'll see that it's just a really like empty room full of tatami and like maybe 2 chairs with like a little table in the middle looking out towards the nature. Like there's a big window, a slidey door that looks out to like the leaves and the forest and the nature and whatnot, right? And then you'll notice, strangely enough, that there's like a room of tatami mats that has nothing in it, and then there'll be a room that has like a big table with like some mats, and that's it. And you're like, where are the beds? Well, if you open up the closet doors, the little slidey doors, you'll find that your beds are in there, the futons. And typically, the staff that is working at the ryokan will take them out and set them up for you. It's the same staff that's going to give you your dinner and your breakfast. And when you arrive at the ryokan, the staff will greet you. They're in their traditional kimono. They'll have you take off your shoes, and then they'll lead you to your room. And depending upon which room you can get a really fancy one or like a small one. They have all kinds of different ones, but it's just really traditional. Now, of course, there are super modern ryokan as well, but even then the staff will be wearing fairly traditional clothing. They'll lead you to your room, they'll welcome you in, and then they'll kind of ask you, like, when do you want to eat dinner? And then, like, do you want to order any alcohol to come with your dinner? They'll show you sort of like where the onsen is, here are the baths, etc. I thought we had to lay out the futons ourselves. Oh, I guess it... I think it might, I don't know, maybe it depends, but typically the staff will do it for you. If it's the type of ryokan where they're going to come and serve you dinner, they will come and set up the futons for you. They might say like, oh, can we set up the bed, and whatnot, and you'll be like, oh yes, please. And then, they'll come sit down at the table with you. Usually they have like a little welcome treat, if you will. Usually it's like a Japanese sweet. So like you might get some mochi or some manju, and some tea. They love giving you like green tea along with your welcome snack. And during that time, they'll talk to you about like, here are all the different facilities. We can do massages. We can give you a private bath here, etc. I wonder what's for dinner. But they'll tell you about dinner, and they'll ask you, is there anything you can't eat? When I went with Wawa, she was like, no fish, please, and they were like, holy shit. They were like, oh, that's gonna be tough. You really shouldn't go to a ryokan if you don't want to eat fish. My boy, you really shouldn't. Oh, that's the main cuisine. Gone. Oh, chicken. It was kind of cute, though. Well, see, and here's the sweet thing about ryokan is that they are so about hospitality and making sure that you're happy that they went and changed their whole menu up just for Kiwawa so that she could eat things. And it's not like they were specialties. They weren't exceedingly incredibly delicious because of course they pour their heart and soul into the main menu, but they accommodated for her, and that's something special about ryokan that I think just your average run-of-the-mill hotel won't do, is that ryokan are really into you being relaxed, you being at ease, and you being content and being hospitable to you. So she is famous after all, a celebrity. But yeah, I really do recommend that if you go to Japan, maybe stay in a regular hotel for your like Tokyo trip. And then if you want to go visit the onsen in Hakone or Hokkaido, various places within Japan, you can of course do that, but I'd recommend that if you're going to the countryside, instead of a regular hotel, check out a ryokan instead for a few days. Or just even just a couple days. And then after your dinner's over, they ask you, when would you like to have breakfast? And, some ryokan will have, you're able to go out and eat in the restaurant, etc. But most of them will allow you the option to eat within your own room. And get ready because you'll be comfortable, you'll be. the Tansho treatment. Get ready to wake up early, because they're all about that healthy lifestyle. So, but I think they're especially friendly because they really want visitors to enjoy their time there at the ryokan. So, I will say that it's unlikely that they speak a ton of English. There are some ryokan that have a resident English speaker, but not all of them. So you'll need to check beforehand and make sure that they have somebody that speaks English. Or you can use Google Translate. I don't know. You can use the Pocket Talk thing that Muno was using to talk to JP's during the Fest Deco concert backstage. That was fun. It does work. That was super cute when those guys were talking. Yeah. Okahi senpai was talking to her so much with it. And Mio senpai. It was so cute. So. But yeah. Yubi. So I do recommend checking out ryokan. A lot of them actually have some rooms that you can rent out where you get your own private bath. I really recommend those because you can enjoy your dinner and then you can go relax in the bath and then you just slowly drift away on your futon on the ground, which is actually really comfortable because tatami aren't just like a wooden floor. Like it's meant to be kind of springy and soft so that you can easily fall asleep on your futon. And you can enjoy nature. Who doesn't love enjoying some nature, right? Aw, she tried her best to speak English. I felt bad for her, so I just pretended to know Japanese. That's so cute. Aww. See, a lot of them do try. They do their best. And I think it's really important to I guess, treasure that and remember your manners. Okay? Something to remember is that when you go to Japan, not everybody is gonna speak English. In fact, no one is obligated to speak English in Japan because it is Japan, where they don't speak English. So it's important to not only remember this, but accept this fact. And something that I've learned in terms of language is that if you try to communicate with them, they will try to communicate with you. In the beginning, when I didn't really know a lot of Japanese, I would still learn phrases to use at shops. And in the beginning, the shopkeepers would speak only Japanese. They were kind of shy and whatnot. And they'd see how freaking terrible my Japanese is. Or rather was. It's gotten better since then, I guess. But they would see how awful it was. And they'd see that I was trying. And because they saw that I put in the effort, then they would start to feel comfortable using English. It may have also been because they thought to themselves, wow, your Japanese is so freaking terrible. My English cannot be as bad as your Japanese is. So, it never hurts to try. So, what I recommend is that you just learn a couple words can do the trick. And hand gestures go a long way too. Combine hand gestures with just words that you know. And they will respond famously to that because they see that you're trying. If you just go up and yell English at someone, it's not going to go well for you in Japan. Don't do that. Do not do that. Additionally, some restaurants may ask you to take your shoes off. Some of them may not, but if they do, don't put up a fuss. Take off your shoes. Same goes when you're entering maybe a friend's house or a friend's family's house. Want to take off those shoes. I feel like a lot of people know that though. It's kind of a no-brainer, right? Something I'd recommend is don't just talk to anyone. The reason that I say that is because in a lot of countries, I think it's cool to just like shoot the shit with anybody. But in Japan, people are very shy and like to kind of keep to themselves and like mind their own business, right? And that isn't to say that you can't make friends with random people in Japan. It's just that there's a time and there's a place. It's one thing to ask for directions on the street You may find that it's a little harder to get directions from Japanese people. But don't talk to anyone, got it? No, like I said, time and place. If you go to a place like a club or a bar, that's fine. Even if you're like at an izakaya and like people are, drinking a lot and whatnot, I think, I really wouldn't see a problem with like, just like a little comment here or there. I've certainly seen groups of friends make friends with Japanese people at izakaya just because people were drinking a lot and having fun, right? But I'd really say that there is a time and there is a place. If you're in it to make friends, go to places where people can come out of their shells. Maybe go to Akihabara, where there are maid cafes. Alright, listen, lads, listen. I know you want to talk to the cute girls in Japan. I got you. I got your back. Go to Akihabara. Look for any place that looks like a cafe with girls. They will talk to you. Of course, you have to give money, but they will talk to you. And it's not like you need to directly give them the cash. You just have to, pay to enter. And then you buy some food, you buy some drinks. Maybe you like the lady enough that you want to buy the lady a drink. I don't know. Not saying I've gone to a bunch of these or anything. I don't know. If you go a bunch of times, you get a membership card. And if you punch out the membership card, you get like a special prize. And anyway, stop pushing us directly to the maid cafe. I don't know, I'm just trying to give you something to do. I mean, they just talk to you. You can take a little Polaroid picture with them. It's nice. Anyway, this is on the manners slide, so. But I mean, I don't know, I always find that I want to buy them a drink. Because they're working hard. They're talking to me, they're asking me about my home country. I don't know, I want to just do a little shot together. Anyway, all of that costs money. It does, correct. It is a business. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm saying making friends. It's not quite the same thing. It's not quite. Like, okay, here's the thing. To make friends in this world, I think that you can make friends that you don't have a ton of common interests with, but it's difficult. I think that you need to share interests with people, which is, of course, how I took the easy, quick, fast way of making Japanese friends, where I liked Japanese music and I met Japanese people on Twitter that liked the same music I did. And then we met in person at shows, and then we hung out afterward. So, you guys are Holo fans, right? Whether I'm your Oshi or someone else is your Oshi, I'm sure that there are JP fans that are also into your Oshi. Or maybe you just enjoy talking about Holo together. On Twitter. Talk to them. Learn some Japanese. I don't know, use Google Translate. Talk to them. Talk to them to the point where you guys become buddies, and then a Holo event happens, and you're in Japan for the Holo event, and you make plans to meet up, and then you enjoy karaoke afterward. You made friends on Twitter? That's impossible. This was years ago. Different times. However, I do think that the Holo community on Twitter, in terms of like connecting JPs and ENs and EUs, etc. Not all of us are anime characters like you, Callie. No, that's not. It has nothing to do with it. Walking straight to Akihabara and explaining I'm buying anime merch. No. That's not. That I don't think that'll work. But no. It's not like that. I'm just saying, you'd be surprised how many JP Holo fans may want to like hang out, but I wouldn't immediately say go hang out one-on-one. Maybe be like, hey, group of us fans are coming to Japan to hang. Do you and some other Holo fans want to go to karaoke or something? You'd be surprised how it works. But again, this is just me speaking from my own personal experience. Everyone's experience is different, which is why, by and large, if you're worried about not having any friends to enjoy Japan with, you should just bring friends. Friends. You should bring friends with you. plan a trip with others. Unless you're like really into the whole like solo, like figuring out your path and exploring by yourself, etc. Like, I guess there's that too. Looking extra cute today, Dad. Thanks! the lazy eye, man, I tell you what. But anyway, we were talking about manners. Yeah, just going up to people and screaming is just like really not a good idea. Don't do that. Do not do that. This is less of a manner thing and more of just a warning to you guys, is that there are a lot of taxis that will not let you inside unless you are wearing a mask. So I would carry one around with you in case there is like a taxi that you want to take and they're like, hey, why aren't you wearing that? Additionally, traveling on trains, don't talk, don't bring food. I think a water bottle is maybe okay. No one's gonna be mad if you're sipping on a water bottle while sitting down, but if you bring, your McD's and whatever, you're chomping on some large French fries and like a Big Mac, Japanese version of quarter pounder Teddy Tama, just like sauce flying all over the place, dripping down your hands and whatever into your pants, just snarl. Yeah, Japanese people aren't gonna like that. Don't do that. McD's. So yeah, do not. I'm loving it. Yeah, they will hate that. So don't do that, and don't talk on your phone. In fact, don't talk to your friends, except in a hushed voice. I think it's okay. I've had plenty of conversations with my friends on the train where we speak in like kind of a sort of hushed voice, and nobody really quite minds. But I would keep it down. Don't be a diesel. Precisely. Don't be a diesel. But yeah, like a water bottle is okay. But typically don't eat food on the train. And don't talk super loud. And definitely don't talk on your phone. Do as they do. A lot of them are playing mobage, which is mobile games. Just whip out your mobile game and play with the rest of them. Just do it. Read some manga. Plenty of salarymen are doing it. Fit in, blend into the crowd. Also because it's fun. Just do it. What do they do if you eat on the train? People won't like you. I mean, I guess it's not really an immediate consequence. If there's train staff walking by, they're gonna get mad at you. They're gonna tell you to stop doing that, throw it away. But just typically, it's just bad manners. And a lot of times in Japan, there are things that are just bad manners that you might not immediately get punished for, right? They beat you up. Yeah, no, this is Japan. No one's gonna beat you up. But no, you need to be careful, because there are plenty of things that are like, you're not gonna get immediately punished for them, but you really just shouldn't do it. And if you do it, it makes us look bad. So don't do it. Please. We're trying to be respectful, right? And the more respectful we are, the more fun things that, we'll be able to do in Japan, People will feel more comfortable with us there, and that's important, It's all about the respect. But I'm dead serious. How about if I have a tattoo? No one really cares. However, what I will say, because there are plenty of Japanese youth as well that have tattoos, the only thing that I will say is that you won't be able to enter a lot of gyms, most gyms, I would say. And there are, I would say it's going to be tough to enter about 80% of onsen if you do have tattoos. Some onsen are really chill about it, and they have cover stickers that you can use to cover up your tattoos, and they have them available for you. Some of them are a little in the gray area where if you're a foreigner, they don't really care. It just really depends. It's tough because a lot of times they won't say on their website whether it's not allowed until you get there. And if you call and ask, if they ask for your name or something, I guess it's fine, because typically they don't ask your name when you go to the front desk. You could always call and ask, but it's a situation where if you walk in the front door, you aren't going to want to ask at the front desk, because asking if it's okay is going to get you turned away. So typically, I just bring some stickers, right? You should bring some stickers with you. Like I'm going to the gym. Okay, all right. Well, some people like to go to the gym. If you're staying at a fairly international hotel, I wouldn't worry about it. If you want to go in the pool, if you want to get in the spa, etc., at like a very international hotel, you have nothing to worry about. But if you're going out into the old countryside, you're gonna want to bring tattoo stickers. If you have anything that's like enormous over your whole shoulder, I'd just give up on it. However, there are several onsen in Hakone that are going to allow you to enter even if you do have tattoos. You're going to have to use old Google Sensei to look them up, but they do exist. There are quite a few of them. So, pasties? Not pasties. What the fuck are you talking about? That has a tattoo. I said I would go with stickers. I confirmed nothing. I confirmed nothing. I'm just saying I would go with many stickers. Okay? We should go with stickers. Just bandages. Whatever you can use to cover yourself up. It's mostly just because there's some, I don't know, it's a little scary to some of the older ladies and gentlemen in Japan, and we want to respect them, right? We want to not come off as, you know, oh, I'm above the rules and I'm going to enter the onsen anyway, etc. Properly check the rules. But by and large, if you do have one, it's not like you can't enter Japan or anything, and it's not like you can't show it off. Especially with the youth these days, nobody really cares. I only have one, but it's on my upper arm. Well, depending on how large it is, you might be able to use a cover to cover it up. And typically, if you do use a cover, no one's going to rat you out or anything. In fact, I think they'll be happy that you respect the rules. So, yeah, it is a business, so they are keeping safety. They're looking out for the comfort of everybody that is there, so just respect the rules. Additionally, when you're in the onsen, put up your hair if you have long hair. Keep it up, because you don't want your hairs floating around in the onsen. Generally, if you're not sure of certain aspects, like is this mannerly, is this bad, is this good, generally err on the side of what you think is the cleanest and will impose the least on other people. That's always the safest bet, I would say. Can I splash fight my friend in the onsen? Like, no, you can't. You cannot do that. Because that would impose on other people that are trying to relax. Can I talk a ton in the onsen? Well, this is a tough one because a lot of times you'll find some very chatty old grannies are just having some fun chatting away in the onsen, and maybe they want to say hi to you because they think you're interesting, which is very sweet. But typically, I would avoid doing that. Just like talking super loud in the onsen, kind of keep it down. That sounds like common politeness. See, that's the thing. If you just use a bit of common politeness in Japan, I think that you can get by with the manners bullet point here. In whatever way. Swimming was a big no-no? Yeah, I would say big no-no. One time I talked about one of my vacations that I'd taken to an onsen during the scythe swinging class, right? And my students were very surprised that I said I went swimming in the onsen. They're like, you're not supposed to swim. I was like, oh, same thing, you're in water. They're like, no, it's not the same. Don't swim. So, just, and yeah, talking in a soft voice is also very good, a good thing. I mean, unless you're just letting go at an izakaya or a club or karaoke with your friends. Generally in a public space, you want to keep things at regular volume. And if you're in a calming place like a spa or an onsen or some place where the nature is really beautiful and people are out enjoying a walk, keep it on the lower level, just for everybody else's sake. What are they gonna do? Stop me? I know you're joking. I know you're joking. If you weren't joking though, I would say no, but it'll be sad. And they'll be like, oh man, why is that person being disrespectful? Can I commit war crimes in the onsen? Let me think. I guess it kind of depends on the day, but no, you can't. You cannot do that. Also, I've never been to one of these. They do have some onsen where you wear a swimsuit and it's mixed. Everybody can enjoy the onsen together. In their swimsuits.
I've never been to one, so I don't really know the etiquette, but I'd say just don't be creepy. Can I drink the onsen? No, you'll die. Can I cook shabu shabu in the onsen? No, you can't. I know y'all are just fucking with me, but come on, man. Come on. Drinking in onsen? No. However, what I will say is that sometimes they have beer vending machines outside of the onsen, and there's like a relax room. So you can enjoy soaking in the onsen, go out, grab a beer. I typically prefer to grab the milk instead. There's like coffee milk, strawberry milk, sometimes tropical milk, regular milk vending machines. I choose the normal milk. I go sit in the massage chair, put a couple coins in, lay back, and play some ping pong sometimes too. How long is too long to be in the onsen? It really depends on your personal comfort level. I have really low heat tolerance for water, so typically what I end up doing is I'll spend maybe like 10 minutes in the very hot onsen. I'll get out, I'll lay on a bench for a little bit, cool myself off. I'll get in the cold pool, stay in there for 10 minutes, get out, lay on a bench, let my body temperature normalize, get in like the medium temperature bath, chill for a little bit. It's not really a good idea to go from one to the other too quick. It's kind of dangerous for your body temperature to like move that much. Some old ladies don't care, they do it anyway, but it is what it is. Until you're super wrinkly. Again, it's all about your own comfort level, but you want to pay attention to what your body's telling you, as per the usual, right? If you feel like you need to get out of the onsen, get out of the onsen. Okay? Back to manners. You can slurp your noodles. That's cool. That's very chill. You don't need to tip in Japan. In fact, don't do that. Do not. They'll be like, you left your money. You can be like, no, it's your tip. They'll be like, what? Are you insulting me? No, I'm joking. They won't think that. They won't jump right to, oh, they're insulting me. It's just, they'll be very confused. There's really no reason to. The way I like to think of it is what you would tip them is already included in their salary. It's very different from America. So yeah, no tip. Same with taxis. The only place I've ever left a tip in Japan is Uber Eats because the app gives you the option. That's it. There's no need to tip at all or leave money anywhere. Yeah, it's weird for them. It is weird. So do not. Yeah, by and large, I would say if you can just be aware of your surroundings and just treat others the way that you would like to be treated, don't get too insanely loud in quiet places, and just be receptive to things that you're kind of told to do. Because I feel like I've had many experiences where like I've kind of done something wrong and then someone's corrected me, and as long as you like immediately switch up your behavior, then it's no harm, no foul. Everybody will forgive you immediately because you've got that Guy Kokujin card. So just respect that the culture is different from yours, and as long as you can be open-minded to that, that's what's important. And people will forgive you. Okay? Let's see. What else did I want to tell you guys about? There's still quite a few things. Oh, here we go. Let's actually go to budget. Alright. So, once upon a time, your Mori was extra poor. No money, just college student, working 2 jobs, going to school. I worked 1 job to pay rent and bills, etc. I worked another job so that I could keep going to Japan. When it comes to saving up money for Japan, it is possible. $30,000 room, no. Never. It is possible to do. What I'd recommend is, get a job and put away a little bit every time, right? Like I said, I had a job that I used to dedicate to saving money for visiting Japan, so that was kind of what I had going on, right? But not everybody can just work 2 jobs. It's extremely exhausting. So I'd say put away a little bit every once in a while. Now, I don't think you would believe me if I told you this, but there are some places where you can get a round trip ticket from LA to Tokyo for about $1,000. That may have changed recently because the increase of foreigners is insane. But keep in mind, this is not during height of travel season. This is not during height of travel season. Oh, really? Yeah, I can tell you guys about this because I don't use it anymore, because it became too popular for my taste, and also just because I've moved on from that. But there is an airline called Zip Air. It's owned by ANA, I believe. I think is it ANA? I don't think it's Japan Airlines. I think it's ANA. It's a low budget version, and it's extremely cheap. I recall you could get like flatbeds to like lay down and sleep the whole way, and they were like, you could get a round trip with those for less than $2,000. However, of course, now since the borders are open once again, they're like all booked out until like November, so that won't happen. You have to be quick with it. But typically, if you don't really care about things like, oh, I have to, be able to sleep, etc., I'm cool with just economy. Yeah, you can get there for about $1,000, depending upon where you're leaving from, etc. If you look it up, basically it's the cheapest in the game. So it is possible. So you allocate, just to be safe, if you want to really try and take just the cheapest flight, maybe like allocate $1,500, I'd say, just to general travel to and from Japan, assuming you're using a super budget airline like Zip. And Zip is good. Just make sure you get there on time, because, with these budget airlines, if you're not there on time, they'll be like, no, you missed the cutoff time. And therefore, even though the plane doesn't leave for an hour, you cannot get on the plane. But yeah, that's from America. If you're traveling from elsewhere, it might be more expensive, of course, obviously. But if you do your research, use Skyscanner, figure out what the cheapest amount is, you can get a good price. Would I recommend making 2 stops and doing a 30-hour journey for the cheapest price? No, I wouldn't. It's just not worth it. At that point, I would really recommend just maybe push off the trip until you can, save a couple more bucks. I've been down that road before, and it was not fun. It was not worth it. So yeah. But Mori, that's like 4 car payments. Well, do you want to go to Japan? I'm sorry. Blah. But yeah. By the way, hashtag not sponsored. I mean, yeah, they didn't sponsor me, but I'm just giving you some tricks of the trade right now, and it's hard for me to do without listing specific services I've used in the past, but I really do recommend them. And then, if you really want to stay super budget, of course, there's the hostel option. And again, as I said before, there are kind of upgrades of hostels that you can do where it's still like a very cheap price, cheaper than a regular hotel, but you still do get a private room, and you still can get a private bathroom. Even better if you bring along a couple friends and you guys share like a room together where everybody has their own bed, and at a hostel you guys can hang out together and all share the same bathroom. If you're fine with that, there it is, and it's extremely cheap. But again, it just depends on, you have to kind of weigh, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to spend more money in the countryside, getting like a nice ryokan and enjoying the onsen in Hakone? Or do you want to, keep all of the big spending in Tokyo, etc.? And you don't mind getting a nicer hotel because you're not really interested in going to the ryokan, or like traveling too far from the city center. Can swim to Japan for free. That is true. You probably get hella strong muscles from that. Very strong traps, very strong deltoids, triceps. Very nice. APA is a good price, private room hotel. Yeah. I feel like APA is like the best Western of Japan. It works well enough. It's higher up than a hostel, but maybe a bit cheaper than a regular hotel. Very budget, but decent quality, and because it's Japan, just like a McDonald's, it may be lower price, but it's still an okay quality. You have it to do what you need to do, which is sleep and keep your things safe. Yeah. So, ultimate min-max strat. Depending on how long you want to stay in Japan too, of course, that will affect the price. I always say that week and a half to 2 weeks is a good amount of time, but if you're on the lower budget side, I think week and a half is good. Week and a half, pretty good. So let's say that you decide to stay at a hotel where maybe, like I said before, the cheapest hotel that I've ever stayed at was a hostel that was $15 a night, and it was clean. It was immaculately clean. When I did that, gosh, that was maybe 10 days, $150. But you can get someplace much nicer than that, of course. You don't need to stay in that sort of place. Maybe like $70 a night is pretty nice. Multiply that by 10. That's a solid $700 for a room. If you share that with a friend, I don't know, that's not bad. That's a good deal. And there are plenty of places like that in Japan that really want you guys to come hang out in Japan. So you add that onto the budget, you're sitting at just a little bit, about a little over 2K. Again, if you want to do it really, really budget style, you can get under 2K, but depending upon the comfort level that you guys want when you come to Japan, $350 per night. If I was staying at someplace $350 per night, I might make the trip a bit shorter. It's not bad though. Let's see. So if you stayed for a week, it would be well into the 2000s. But this is just me giving an idea of if you want to do something extremely budget, low price. Of course, what you could also do, this is definitely possible, is spend the first leg of your trip in sort of a lower budget place, right? Then you go head off to the ryokan for a couple days. Why am I coughing? The air is so dry. Head off to the ryokan for a couple of days, and then go back to the city and stay in a nicer place. Maybe one of those $350 a night places. What about a tourist agency? I really can't speak too much on that because I've never actually used a travel agency to organize my trips. I've kind of just researched and done things all on my own. It's like oddly a weird hobby of mine, is I love planning trips. I love writing up itinerary and like things to check out and find and do, right? Never sleep, just walk around all the time. As long as the bed is sleepable, I think you're good. Nice plan. Nice plan. Wow, tourism. Speaking of tourism, there are many things that you can see when you go to Japan. I feel like I'll mostly be talking about Tokyo. Tokyo. Tourist tips. What are my recommended places that you might want to see? What do you want to take out a day to go do? There's a lot to do in Tokyo. There's too much to do in Tokyo, in my opinion. I feel like some of the more obvious things are Tokyo Tower and Skytree. People really like the Skytree as well because that's where the Pokemon Center is, but there are other Pokemon Centers now opening around Japan. Tokyo Tower is pretty fun for like a quick trip, I would say. I don't think the view from Tokyo Tower necessarily is very immaculate. I would say go check out the Tokyo Sky View in Roppongi Hills. And if you go check that out, you actually get a view of Tokyo Tower from that building. And you can take pictures of it. It's very surreal. It's very beautiful. You gotta visit Don Quixote is an incredible little chain market in Japan where you go in and you can just find anything. And I mean it when I say that. There is anything. Even the things that you don't want people to see you buy, they are there. So go to Don Quixote at least once. The way I recommend doing it is go to an izakaya with your friends. You guys get super blasted, and then go to Don Quixote. Just lose yourselves in Don Quixote. You can do it. I believe in you. Do they have dinosaurs? You know what? Yeah. Go to the toy section. Though if you're looking for real dinosaurs, that might be a little tough. Anyway, Don Quixote. That's a place. That is a place you can go. And then of course there's in Akihabara. In Akihabara, Denkigai, where the otaku stay. All you see is idols, cosplay, mangaka, and anime. Medo medo every day, and moe moe in cafes. Tell me how it feels to live your life out like a fucking game. Of course, you'll find all of the holo things that you want in Akihabara, which we'll get to later. We will get to that later. About Heights. Shibuya Sky, new. Oh, I've never seen that. Is that a new thing? But Akihabara is like, you just have to go there and see for yourself. The experience that I've had at Akihabara, of course, is, well, yeah, you can dive into any maid cafe and, like, talk to the cute girls there, right? Of course, obviously. But then when it comes to shopping, or, like, other things to do, it really is just a street full of shops. And I don't mean that it's like, a bad thing. It's just, you just gotta go inside. As you're walking down the street, it's really just one street. You walk up and down it, and you're like, oh, there's anime figures in here, and you go inside a shop and you spend an hour just looking at everything, and then you leave, you're like, that was fun, and then you go to the next shop and you're like, oh, there's anime here, and then you go into the shop and you spend another hour, and then you walk out, you're like, wow, that was cool, I'm a little tired, hey, here's another shop, you go inside, oh, there's anime here, you lose another hour. It's very straightforward. There is nothing complicated about Akihabara, which is nice. You know, you got themed cafes and merchandise to buy things. It's just, Akihabara to me is a big anime shopping center. And of course you got a lot of arcades, let's not forget those. Some of the best arcades are in Akihabara. They got a bunch of them. Play a ton of otoge. It's a huge rabbit hole, and you will find holo things. In fact, holo is pretty much dominating Akihabara right now, so I would really recommend going. You will see a lot of cool stuff. Can confirm, bought a few figures there. Any anime that you watch, no matter how niche you may think it is, there are figures for it somewhere. Yeah, Kabukicho, how about that? But we're not going to talk about Kabukicho. Let's see, what else should you visit? I recommend, I already mentioned Roppongi Hills is a little more on the upscale side of things. It's a bit fancier. What else? Tokyo Towers. I'm really going to focus on Tokyo right now. Let's see. There's a huge Gundam. The Yokohama. You can check out the life-size 1-to-1 Gundam at Ocean City. What was it? I don't think it was called Ocean City. One second. It had a specific name. It's next to a mall, a shopping mall that goes by that name, I believe. Huge Gundam. Japan. There's one in Yokohama and there's one. Hold on a sec. The giant Gundam in Yokohama will be staying until March 2024. Oh shit! You guys need to get over here really fast if you want to see the Yokohama one. Oh man, a Tokyo Diver City Complex in Odaiba. Diver City, that's what it is. It's not Ocean City, it's Diver City in Odaiba. That's what it is. There's one in Yokohama and there's one in Diver City, Odaiba. I think Diver City is the name of the big shopping center. So Odaiba's a really interesting place actually because the place itself was like built as a separate little island. It's really like quite man-made and manufactured, but like no one's really living there. It's almost kind of spooky. It's like a ton of like factory stuff and I don't know, it's interesting. Yeah, it's the unicorn one is Diver City. Can I build a 1-to-1 size Gundam? I don't know, maybe if you're the guy that does the 1-to-1 cutouts, or the huge, enormous cutouts, or collab with him. He probably knows the ins and outs of making enormous things. You could try. Where is my enormous, gigantic Mori Calliope statue? Sounds pretty industrial. Can I build it in the onsen? Absolutely not. Gundam in Yokohama. There's also little things like, there's the Ghibli Museum, but that's really hard to get into. Universal Studios, Japan. Universal Studios, whoopsies. There go the headphones. Universal Studios Japan in Osaka, which I went to with Myth and the Kronster when everybody was around here. But we didn't know that we were going during a time where it was going to be super crowded. We really wanted to get into Nintendo World, but we couldn't because we had to enter a lottery, and we did not win. We did not win. But that's okay. It was during a really popular time. So if you guys get your tickets early, and I mean real early, then you will definitely be able to get in, I think. Clap at the Minions ride. I'm never gonna let her forget that. Clapping at the frickin' Minions ride. Wawa. I wonder how Ina felt about it, because she was laughing a little bit too, but I wonder, was she laughing for the same reason I was? I think we were both laughing at the fact that Kiwawa was getting so excited about the Minions ride. I think that Kiwawa might have thought I was having a fantastic time because I was losing it laughing. I could not control my laughter. But it wasn't at the ride, it was at her. I was about to throw up from laughing. She was like, yeah! Wee! Clapping. She was so excited. She's like, maybe I'll watch the movie now. Ina cringing but too shy to show it. I don't know, maybe Ina enjoyed it as well, who could say? I was in the same boat as Ame. You could not make me get on that ride again. At least it was a fun time. See, we waited an hour and a half in line for a churro that was very subpar, but you know what, at the end of the day, I think my favorite part about that trip was just like the chats that I had with my friends while we were waiting for rides. Just getting to talk to them. I mean, sure, we were standing up, which, you know, but I mean, yeah, standing up burns more calories. It's fine. Quirky Europeans. So quirky. What else did I have here? Let's see. Time tips. Did you know that there's a rhythm, not a rhythm, is it a rhythm game? It's an oto game, sound game, rhythm game, that Nene appears in? I've yet to play that, but man, I want to. I feel like all of this can be done just by going to Akihabara though, to be honest, and you will find holo things. You will find them. Additionally, yeah, the idle dancing game. Saw Zan rocking out to it. Oh yeah? Te to te connect. Te to te connect. You get to touch her hand. Hey, why haven't you guys gotten over here to play that? I mean, maybe you can play it at, you know, round one or whatever. I'm just saying, you just really should come over here and play it. And not to mention, a lot of sound games, I say sound games because I'm directly translating otoge in my head. Rhythm games. A lot of rhythm games actually feature holo music. Like Chunithm, for example. Taiko drum. Do some taiko to holo games. We are broke. Horoksa has a restaurant right now. I guarantee you, anytime that you are in Japan, there's going to be a hololive event going on somewhere. In fact, the girls have really been working hard at like various promotions, like there are onsen that are doing collaborations with them. There are restaurants and cafes as well. All that you really need to do is, you know, check like right when you're about to go to Japan, see what's going on. Well, I wouldn't say right when you're about to go. I would say if you're planning a Japan trip and you know when it's going to be happening, you know, check the holo Twitter and see what kind of like promo stuff is going on, because if you do, and you're able to make a little reservation, you will be happy. Sometimes you can just go. Yeah, 4th gen spa, for example. I want us to do a spa. I want Ian to do a promo spa. That's like a big dream for me because I'm a big spa fan, right? Holo City about to kick off soon. Oh yeah. You guys gotta come hang out at the big like theme park-esque place by Tokyo Dome. There's also a nice spa nearby too, so you can enjoy Holo City and then go to the spa. I'm sorry, I need to shut up about the spa. Nobody gives a shit. Okay, Mori, stop. But it's right by Tokyo Dome, which is actually huge because I was really surprised when I heard that Holo City was going on, just because I've gone by that area before in the past and like seen all of the coasters, like the jet coasters, roller coasters, all the rides and the spinny things and whatnot, and just the thought that like Holo's gonna be taking over that place this summer is wild. I like hearing about the spas though, You guys are too nice to me. Thanks. Spa La Croix, right? How'd you know Spa La Croix? I wasn't gonna say the name of it, but you know Spa La Croix. Can I still go if I have tats? If it's Spa La Croix, you probably should cover up those tats. But yeah, Thunder Dolphin, all kinds of fun stuff. Kind of mind-blowing, right? Not to mention Twinkle for You is happening as well. Yatta. I want to go see. I wonder if they can find a secret place for me to watch from. And we'll see. But man, Holo taking over the world here. But just so you guys know, if you're ever worried about, am I going to find Holo stuff or not in Akiba? And in general, like animate in various areas, you will. Melon books. I don't know if I should recommend melon books. Just be careful in melon books. If you're going on a trip with your parents, just don't take them to melon books. You don't need to take them there. They don't need to see that. If you do, leave them outside. Leave them outside. It's even at Lawson's, exactly. Even convenience stores will have Holo here and there. Anyway. Thanks for the tips, Mori. Oyasumi. You're welcome. But if my dad wants to go in, well, set expectations. Just say this is a place for adults only, which is actually, never mind, your dad's an adult. I'm sorry. Just not very smart. What else did I have here? Onsen, we already talked about onsen. Yeah. Japan 101. There's so much you can do. Adults with hobbies. It's just a hobby shop. Hey, you guys should check out the Village Vanguard, actually. There's a place called the Village Vanguard. It's basically it's a quirky shop in Japan. You might see actually that it's full of a lot of like American inspired things. Like they'll have a lot of Marvel DC stuff too, because I think that people in Japan are like, oh yeah, it's, quirky America stuff. But you can also just find some really interesting things, like, sculptures of shit, and also things you don't want people to see you buy. I don't know, Village Vanguard's really fun. Yeah, I recommend the Village Vanguard if you want like a little crazy rabbit hole trip sort of shop to go to. You love the VV? Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good place. Also lots of really cool indie music as well is sold at the Village Vanguard. Visit Tower Records so you can get some Mori records. But not just Mori records, Holo music in general. I know that Seisei Senpai has got all her records there too. It's a great place for VTuber music as well. I'm pretty sure you might be able to find some like Boogie Vox stuff here and there. For example. So, you will probably be shopping a lot. But you know what? You don't need to buy a gazillion things either. Just kind of cool to look at too, Mori records. ビルバンいいね、いいね、楽しいね、面白いね。Yeah. Tower Records even has some Vocaloid artists. They do. Yep, it's become a lot more mainstream these days, I would say. So, but if you want lots of like Dojin music, go to Melon Books. But also don't bring your parents, but go to Melon Books. But prepare some bleach for your eyes, but go to Melon Books. Yeah. I went to a K-pop store. Wish there were similar stores for Japanese music here in the US. I feel like it's just not quite that big yet. I mean, I feel like K-pop has really kind of boomed, so it doesn't really surprise me that there are K-pop stores, but maybe someday. Japanese artists are working really, really hard right now. Go there a lot? No. I've just been there a lot, because a lot of music I like, you can only buy in Melon Books, so I don't know. Just saying. Whatever. But here's the thing, though. If you plan on buying a ton of, like, nendos, for example, so if you want to get all your holo nendos, you will find them. You will find them at stores, but what you need to do is you need to prepare a second suitcase. Be prepared. If your aim is to come to Japan and buy a bunch of figurines, be prepared, bring a second suitcase. Oh yeah? I'm cultured enough, ma'am. Same with manga, true. Even if you can't read it. I know some of you can read manga, though. Some of you guys know Japanese, I'm aware. But, I don't know. Even when I didn't really know how to read any of it, I just like to hold on to it, personally, so. Yeah. Or deliver through post office. Yeah, but that might be kind of expensive. We'll bring 3 extra cases. Nice. Hey, you guys know how much you're gonna buy better than I do, so. What if we buy a suitcase there? That is possible. The one time I bought a suitcase there, it was extremely expensive. The main reason being, once again, I just didn't know to move the 0. Again, I just didn't know how to read yen properly. So you think that something that costs $700 costs $70. You gotta be careful. Look out for yourselves, okay? Oh, Callie, you didn't. Come on, it's Callie we're talking about. She's not the brightest. She can be a real dummy. Very often. It happens. Cool moment. You still have the suitcase? I do. It was a really good suitcase. Like a really good suitcase. You guys have any questions? That's rough, buddy. Tensai, is it a good suitcase? It's a great suitcase. Very high quality. The exchange rate. Explain currency. Move the decimal point 2 to the left. At least that's how it used to be until the yen kind of got a bit weak. What about temples and shrines? Oh yeah, so if you're into the temple shrine situation, there are actually many different kinds. There's like otera and there's like jinja. So you got your temple and your shrine. I believe the way it was explained to me is that in the shrine there is a god, and in the temple there's no god chilling in the shrine, right? Hold on, or it might be the other way around. Let me check. I believe though, Japanese shrine versus temple. That was the way my Japanese friends explained it to me. The temple has no kami-sama in it. In the jinja, there is a kami-sama inside of it. Enoshima has beautiful shrines. It does. Yeah, jinja. Yeah, there's a god chilling in the shrine. And the temples, they got the monks walking around and stuff, but there's no kami-sama there necessarily. Yeah, exchange money at ATM. Flat 220 yen fee. You know what? I will say that compared to other countries, like getting money out of the ATM is much more economical in Japan. If you go to like a 7-Eleven, you bring your foreign card to get money out, much more economical. It's actually extremely fair compared to other countries. So I would recommend if you need to pull out money from your card, do it in Japan. Also, they most likely will not eat your card, and if they do, someone will help you. Let's see, any tips on phrases to use when buying stuff at Akiba stores for figures? Okay, sure. Typically, all you really need to do is you just take the box that you want. If it's not locked away, right? You can take the box with the figure that you want, just bring it up to the front. They really won't ask any questions. They'll just scan it, and then you'll see the number appear with how much it is, and you just give them the money. And that's all that it is. They may say, like, dejibukuro, which is like, do you want a bag? Like, you want to put it in this bag, yes or no? They might not ask, they might just give you one. However, if there is something locked away, and you want to grab it, you can just say sumimasen. You can sumimasen them over, which is like, excuse me, sumimasen. And I'm trying to think of like the shortest way to say this, but I would typically say 買いたいものがあるんですけど, like, I would say I want to buy something over here. There's this thing I want to buy. There's this thing I want to buy. And typically they'll come out from like behind the register. I don't even really think you need to say, you can just point and they'll be like, ah, okay, they want something that's in the case. And like come around. But yeah. 買いたいもの。買いたいもの。買いたい wanna buy もの thing 買いたいものなんですけど it's this thing I wanna buy, but and they'll come out. You just point to them. これ this. They'll open it, they'll take it out. They might confirm with you, oh, you want the Sora figure? You want Ichigo? You want Luffy? これ欲しい. That works too. Hey, you can be as blunt as you want. They're just happy that you're buying the figure. Mono is such an OP word. Yeah, you can use it in a lot of places. これですか? これ. これ欲しい. すべて欲しい. Which Sora? Kingdom Hearts Sora? Which Sora? There are quite a few. 27 ban kudasai. 27 ban kudasai. 27 ban kudasai. Either one, they'll figure it out. Tokino or no deal. True. Give me the Pekora figurine. You know that the cashier is going to be thinking, wow, that guy's based. That guy's based for wanting Pekora. Yabei. Hoshi. Hoshi meaning I want. Hoshi. I mean, it's very blunt and it's very straightforward, but you know what? It does the job. And sometimes you just need to do the job. If you want to know how much something is, say ikura. Ikura desu ka? How much is it? Ikura desu ka? Tell me. They'll tell you. Just ikura is fine though. Interestingly enough, ikura is also a word for fish eggs. Yeah. But that's not, obviously when you say that to them, they're not going to think you're saying fish eggs. That was the one thing about Japanese language I really couldn't understand. I was like, well, this word is the same for this word. How do they know? Well, no freaking dumb, Mori. He doesn't think that you're saying fish eggs. What are you, stupid? He knows you're asking how much money it is. Now, if it was a character holding a huge bag full of fish eggs, then we might have a problem. Then we might have a problem. Flower and nose. Yeah. Ikura o ikura desu ka? 27 ban ikura peko. Then again, you ask. How much for the fish eggs? Entirely possible in Japan. I mean, it does happen. How much are these fish eggs? Ikura? You want to eat fish eggs or you want to know how much they are? Ikura, ikura. Can I have a fish egg? Can I have a... No, you can't. Suddenly, the store owner is a hololive fan. Typically, in terms of crash or credit card, cash or credit card, in that case, they will usually have a sign that says, yes, you can pay by card, no, you can't pay by card. Typically, though, you will likely not find a shop that won't accept cash. Cash is still very much king in Japan, so I'd carry around some cash with you. Crash or get it. The cash is the king. How much money should you walk around with? Now here's the thing. Japan is relatively safe. However, if you're in a place like Shibuya or Shinjuku, pickpockets do happen. What you need to do is keep your bag in front of you, and then I'd say just you can bring as much as you want. However, if you are a person that loses things often, you may want to take that into account. There are pickpockets. I think it's going to be extremely rare for someone to like. I really don't think someone's going to beat you down for your cash. However, there are sneaky thieves. So keep your bag in front of you. That's important. Keep your cash within your sight. But typically, if I was walking around, I think I'd need to know what I was doing for the day. So if I knew that I was going shopping, I'd have my card, just in case I wanted to make any impulse purchases. Like, I roll up and I'm like, yeah, I wasn't going to buy anything today, but that suisei nendo, though, damn, shit, didn't bring enough cash. Only brought enough for the Horox Cafe. Damn it. What am I going to do? You don't want to be caught in those kind of situations, right? So you kind of need to know your own spending habits, I would say. But, yeah. Not enough cash, stranger. The Nendo, though. No way they're coming for my doubloons. But I would say I usually walk around maybe with Nimang. But that's just because I'm not a really big spender. If I make an impulse buy, it's gonna be with the card or no dice. If the Suisei Nendo is there and I have my card, but it says card not accepted, tough shit. Niman is like the equivalent of like $150. So, but I kind of just walk around with the bare minimum, especially because, I live in Japan. I'd kind of, unless I'm like going out on a shopping spree, there's really no reason for me to carry a ton of cash with me. I don't really do shopping sprees very much anyway. Just kind of no reason to. I don't get out of the house a lot these days. Sad to face. Also, no guns. Only because chat asks, can you carry a gun? No. You can't. You can't do that. OMG same. OMG same? Okay. I thought you also wanted to know about guns. No gun. Knives? I mean, you really should. Why do you want to know this, you freaks? Come on. What are we? You're going to Japan to see some cute anime girls and buy some figurines and blow your cash away. What are you talking about, you dummy? Nah, I get what you mean. Probably not. Also, no pepper spray. Pepper spray is illegal in Japan, actually. It is straight up illegal. Also, maybe don't, bring your katana around. It's not okay just because it's Japan. People will still think it is strange. I've played Yakuza. No weapons. Just visiting. This is not Yakuza. You are just visiting. Whatever you learned from the Yakuza game series, put it away. But my 1,000-fold blade! You can use it later, when you're alone in your hotel room. In the ryokan, where the expensive tatami is there, just don't slice it up, okay? Only good vibes. No shuriken, no kunai. Okay? Ooh, souvenir to buy for your parents? Well, it depends on what your parents like. You're going to Japan December of 2023. Any recommendations for souvenirs to buy for parents? Well, typically when I come back from Japan to visit friends and family, I just get some Tokyo banana and people go nuts over that. I think it's a tiny bit overrated just because there are lots of different things you can buy, but you gotta know what your parents are into. If you have like a connecting flight, it might be kind of hard to buy food, but some tea is always nice. Traditional Japanese tea. I usually just get my gifts at the airport, and the reason that I do that, hear me out, I've gone shopping for souvenirs in Japan plenty of times before. And a lot of the, shops that I go to buy things that are specifically like omiyage here, souvenirs are here, etc. I'll buy something from there and then I'll go to the airport to leave and I'll see the same freaking thing that I bought. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I could have just bought that here. It happens more often than you may think. Now, that isn't the case for things like, if you go to the Pokemon Center or see like a holo cafe that's happening, etc. Right? Only reason to ever buy things at the airport is duty free. I would say that that's true, but I don't really see too much of a price difference in a thing that I bought randomly at a souvenir shop in Tokyo than I do at the airport, personally. I'm going to Japan this Saturday. Do you think the Kanda Shrine X Hololive store will be sold out of merch? I would hope not, and I don't think it will be, but I would get there early. I'd try to beat the crowd, because those holo things are popping off. What snacks would you recommend? Let's see. What snacks do I like to eat? It's been a while since I've had, senbei. If you go to the convenience store, there's all kinds of different senbei that you can try. Delicious rice crackers. Nihonjin desu. Let's see. Are there stuff that only appears in different seasons? If you mean just in general, you might want to check out the archive afterward and see the seasons section that we talked about right in the beginning. But yeah. If you are going to Japan, what can you do as a visitor to show your gratitude? I want people to know I appreciate them. How does one pay it forward? Exercise good manners. I feel like that's the best thing that you can do for people that maybe like, in general, if you're in Japan, there are going to be a ton of people that you don't know and you will never see again. But the best thing you can do is just be kind and respectful of them and their space. Just be nice. And if people need help, help them. If there's an older woman getting onto the train, stand up and give her your seat. That will make her day. It'll make her so happy. Typically, if people are struggling, I have actually been in Tokyo with like 2 huge suitcases, and there actually was a Japanese person that came and helped me carry my suitcase up the stairs. So just doing those kinds of little things are really greatly appreciated, I think, here and there. You don't want to impose too much, but Mori muscles. But I don't really think that's imposing if someone's genuinely struggling. Like little gestures like that are really important. Letting people go in front of you through the door. I know it works for anywhere, for sure, but in Japan it's really, really important. So. What is something you think shouldn't be done as a tourist thing for either the disturbance or it's just overrated? Let me think. Because that's kind of a tough one. Extremely touristy stuff. I don't think that it's that it shouldn't be done. I just kind of don't really have any interest in it. I did it once and it was like okay, but putting on kimono and walking around in Asakusa is like okay. If you want to do it, there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. I think it's a little overrated. There's like so many other things you can do there. Like there are game stalls and like things that you can, like delicious food you can try, visiting the shrine there. I think, maybe doing it once is cool. I know that it's very popular in Kyoto, but I just feel like it's very much hyped up. I feel like I did it and I was like, this is cool, but like, it's not for me. So, yeah. And do not take pictures of weddings at shrines, i.e. be intrusive. Yeah, that's big. Just generally don't take pictures of other people doing things without their permission. Don't do that. Yeah. Oh yeah, walking, eating, drinking at the same time is, you just kind of typically don't do that. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's a very, how do I say? It's not that it's exceedingly like rude against a particular person per se, but it's very much like, hello, I am a foreigner. I am going to eat and drink and run at the same time. I was in like a situation where I've been in a couple of situations where like I've been a little late to work in the past and I've been running and simultaneously trying to eat like natto at the same time. Little natto roll, natto maki roll. And like it's fine because like I'm running and I take a swift bite and then I keep running. But like again, like I mentioned with like the McDonald's on the train, just like with the sauce dripping down your fingers. It's just not something nice to look at. And might just be a little, I mean, it's a little more acceptable just because you're not like in their space, but I'd say it's less, like I said, it's less of a rude thing and more of just, that is a foreigner right over there. Eating while running anime trope. Yeah, they usually do it with toast though. Yeah. So toast is okay, yeah, but only in the anime. If you deliberately put toast in your mouth and run, I think people are gonna be like, what's going on there? That's weird. That's a weird thing you're doing, my man. Life is not an anime, but I will say, even though, yeah, life is not an anime, anime and reality, very different. You guys know this. Anyone that says that like anime and manga aren't a typical part of life in Japan has not been there for a very long time. Because, sure, it is still a hobby that not everybody indulges in, just as anything else, like liking Marvel or DC in America. But it is a part of people's lives where salarymen, old and young, you can see on the trains are enjoying their favorite manga or watching anime on their iPads. It's not a weird thing. I feel like there's been this big rise of the opinion that liking anime and manga and enjoying it in Japan is like, it's not something that they do. That is incorrect. That is not right. That is factually wrong. I mean, it's not a hobby that everybody is into, but you have to think about it in that kind of way. Yeah, I've seen some discord in certain places where people are like, actual real Japanese people still view anime and manga as weird. Incorrect. That is wrong. It might be a hobby that not everybody participates in, and of course, anybody in the world is going to think, oh yeah, maybe this thing is kind of odd, but by and large, that is not correct. It's plastered all over the subway. If it was something that everybody thought was very strange or weird, it would not be plastered on the subway. So, yeah. Also, I'd say for those of you interested in working in Japan, the easiest, most straightforward way, if you don't know a ton of Japanese, is just going to be to teach English. And there are plenty of companies to do it with that are happy to have you. I think going to Japan and just like seeing what kind of like arubaito, like part-time job that you can find available without knowing at least N2 level. I'm saying N2, but like I've seen some people pass the N2 test that also really can't hold a conversation. Like you need to have very good Japanese speaking ability unless you're doing something like teaching English or something where you're going to be using primarily English all of the time. So is it difficult to get a work visa? Not if you're teaching English. And not if you kind of have like a pre-established career that can point you in the direction of Japan. But I would start that way. If you really just want to live in Japan, if that's your main focus, it might be better to do don't expect to make it just don't expect to be rolling in cash, but that is the way to get there. I'm out. I failed English. I don't really think that matters very much. I think they want a warm body that can speak it. So, if I want a burger in Japan, any suggestions? Golden Brown. There's a place called Golden Brown. I believe it's in one of the more hoity-toity areas of Tokyo. Just look it up. Golden Brown. Very good. It's in a mall, but it's like a one of a kind. It's not a chain, and it's delicious. Golden Brown. Moss Burger's good. Yeah, if you're gonna do a chain, don't do McDonald's, do Moss Burger. Yeah. Do Moss Burger. I would recommend. Oh yeah, maybe it was it Meguro? I'm not totally sure. I will keep that in mind. Thank you, Callie. Hope you enjoy it. No McDonald's? I mean, look, you eat what you want on your vacation, okay? But these are just Mori's recommendations, all right? There is one in Meguro, says Google. That might have been where it was. I recall meeting with plenty of friends over there a couple of times. Very yum. Mori's recommendation. Can research topic also if it's not covered here. Again, Google is your friend, and I'm going to leave some helpful links in the description as well for those of you that like... Actually, I left a couple in there. Of course, there's Tokyo, which is, you know, the ambassador program is from there. Yatta. That looks really sarcastic with this, with my camera. I can't smile. It looked like I rolled my eyes. I didn't. I'm really happy. I'm very lucky. And additionally, of course, there's Gaijin Pot. None of these places are endorsed by cover, by the way. Just little places that I've gone to like find some info in the past and whatnot. I'll plaster some more in there as well. Google Sensei is your friend. I tried Moss Burger. I didn't like it a lot. It's not for everyone. It's still a very different burger. You should try Freshness then. Go for Freshness Burger after that. I love the half-closed eyes. They look nice. I should do some really tired streams like this. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna read some super chats now, and then take a nice long sleep. And then in terms of tomorrow's stream, it's gonna be Gorilla, just because it's a very, very busy day, and I don't know how long certain things are going to go. And so, but I really do want to stream. I'm trying to stream as many days as I can, almost every day, and I don't want to miss a day. And then I'm traveling the following day. I have to stream tomorrow. But yeah, I'm working on it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my tips. I hope that I've given you some things to think about. I'm gonna go read some supas now. Thank you guys very much for enjoying. I'm your Mori. I hope you'll remember me, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side for those of you that are heading out. Everybody, please take care of yourselves. And if you do choose to go to Japan, I hope you love it. I hope it's an amazing journey for you, that you'll remember, oh my god, the headphones dropping, ruining the moment. I hope that it's an amazing journey that you'll never forget for your whole life. And even if Mori didn't cover something here, there are plenty of wonderful resources on the internet that you can use. Internet's your friend. Get a pocket Wi-Fi and you'll be safe. You can ignore everything I've said here and just grab a pocket Wi-Fi at the airport and just go out. I'd recommend using the Narita Express, though. Very good deal to go from Narita to Tokyo. Just saying, you can get round trip as well. Very reasonable price. Green car is very clean as well if you like that kind of thing. But really, you could just be dropped with a pocket Wi-Fi in the middle of nowhere and you would be fine. Japan's that kind of country, I feel, where it's very chill and easy to just travel around and go wherever you fancy without too many worries, so. Anyway, with that being said, I'm your Mori. Hope you'll remember me. I'll see you guys around. And I'll see you soon for reading Super Chats. Bye, everyone. Peace out.
Hiya, I'm back. It's your Tokyo Tourism Ambassador Mori, here to read some supas. Yatta! Are you guys ready for a super time? Hi, welcome back. Hello. Don't worry, I'm not sleepy yet. That's the name of the track of the song anyway. That's what this Dova Syndrome BGM is called. Anyhow, let me see. I'm trying to find a way so that I can see the chat and also read the supas. So let me pull this screen down here. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna read some super chats. Let's see. We first got the biggest of ups, to the one, the only, Unnetfon3, thank you. And thank you very much to 9cats. Hope you get a chance to visit Tokyo in the future. Big ups to Dr. Video Game, thank you very much. Congrats on the opening of the new Japan 3D studio. I was reading the report and it looks crazy. Did you have a chance to look there yet? Hope that means there's an actual 3D BD live next time. Fingers crossed, right? Well, we can hope. I would really like that. But we'll see what happens. I hope so. I mean, I imagine though it'll be very popular and there are still a ton of talents at Holo, so I'll see. I'll just have to really be fast, get in there, real quick. Hey, Moe birthday coming up, please. But I'm excited to see it when it is ready for all of us to jump in. I want to see what kind of crazy fun stuff we can do, you know? We got a big ups too. Tony Bones! Tony, thank you so much for the lovely red super chat. Look at that fat brick. Thank you so much, Tony. I just got all my Blu-rays in the mail, and when I read the special message inside, I teared up a little. I am always amazed by how driven you are, and how genuine you are to your fans. And it makes me really happy I'm able to support you and have fun with you and the deadbeats. Aw, Tony, thank you very much. It's very heartfelt and sweet of you. Well, Moe's doing her best over here. Yeah, I think you guys know I'm really trying hard, especially recently. I feel like I've been really able to put my back into it, but I also want to be very real with you guys and talk to y'all and let you guys know what's going on, you know? Mine comes tomorrow. Yatta! Look forward to it. Plan a little party, why don't ya? But yeah, we're always doing our best. And I'll keep doing my best from here too because we still got a fun road ahead. So, good to be positive about the future, yeah? But even so, there's still a lot of new things that I'm wanting to try. And the future is very bright and big. So, let's look forward to it, yeah? Thanks a lot for supporting me through all of it, Tony. And thank you very much for liking me and what I make, despite everything. Even though Mo is not perfect, she's trying her best. I think I'm really grateful to you guys for supporting me through all of it, even through the tough parts of being an idol. Thank you. Sometimes I wish I could express it better. These are the kind of days where I feel like maybe I'm not the best at expressing my emotions all the time when I feel very seriously about things. I feel like sometimes I only really express them properly when I'm kind of being silly, you know? I have a hard time expressing things that I feel strongly about because I get too embarrassed, but I mean it when I say I really appreciate y'all. I thank you very much. I'm doing my best. Also, thank you so much to Eloda as well for the 20 gifted memberships. Yatta! I think the new member deadbeats are going to be very, very grateful. Thank you so much. A big ups to LC Le Pen. Blu-rays, plural, more than one. What a Chad. See, I had assumed that Tony was talking about like the other members' Blu-rays, like Seisei Senpai, and maybe the fest from last year. Blu-rays, plural. What a freaking legend. Lamau, nah. A big ups to Vampiric Otaku. Thank you very much. Would be personally a great second stop to you, aside from Akihabara, Hakone, but that's because I'm an onsen freak, so that's just what I do. Yeah. The Shibuya crosswalk's pretty cool. The Shibuya Scramble. Shibuya Kosaten.
pretty neat, full of shops and crazy big department stores and people rushing about. Everybody's going somewhere. There's something romantic about it, you know? I love it. Well, big ups to Waluigi Cube, thank you very much. I've been a couple of times already and I'm finally making a return visit late this summer. Really excited to be able to see Hololive City, among other things. So that's cool, Waluigi Cubed. You get a chance to actually check out the Hololive City. I hope you have a ton of fun. Heck yeah. I gotta check it out too, but I gotta be incognito. Very discreet. That's fine. Death gets away with being extremely incognito most of the time. A big ups to Dupes, thank you very much, yatta. I was thrilled to get a 5-minute rant when I asked for travel recommendations last time, but I had no idea I'd get a whole stream. Thanks, Ambassador. You're welcome, Dupes. Just doing my job as Tokyo Tourism Ambassador, right? Gotta do something. And I'll keep doing it, too. I'll keep doing it. In my own ways, I guess, here and there. Happy to give travel recommendations. A big ups to Flora Jean as well. Thank you so much for the sweet comment as always. And thank you to JPRSNSR. Got my pen and notebook out. With a little luck, a Japan trip is very possible this year, so thanks so much for the guide. Also, Blu-ray arrived today. It looks great on display. I can't wait to watch it. Yatta! Makes a nice collector's item, right? Well, thank you so much for buying it, JPRSNSR. I hope that you enjoy the contents, though the contents are really, really wonderful. We'll pop that bad boy in. You just reminded me I need to give my relative one of these Blu-rays. Because I got a couple. I gotta spread them around the family like wildfire, you know? Big ups to Berserking the Astartes Chaplain. Thank you very much. Still down to learn about how to travel if I do get the chance. I'll never say never, but also you gotta do what's right for you, right? Well, I hope it was still very informative and fun for ya. We've also got a big ups to Nick SDB. Thank you very much. A big ups to Draconic Insight. Thank you. Teach us the way, Ambassador Cowie. Thank you to Michael Koronek as well. A big ups to Somber Apak. And thank you very much to Asas. Thank you, Jacob Langlet. I am a fan of Japan. There's so much to do, right? I feel like I've been to every major city and I still feel like there are things that I haven't experienced and done that I need to. So much you can do on this tiny island, right? A big ups to Daniel Z. I'm traveling to Japan on Saturday with some friends. Lucky I can catch this stream. Yatta! Daniel, you gotta share all of Moe's tips. Or some of them. The ones that you deem important, right? A big ups to Fua Michiki. Arigato. Thank you very much to Sauntering Spellcaster. Never been. If I went, I would want to go to Shimabara Castle, Shigeru Mizuki Road, Kyoto, folks like Ryoma Sakamoto and Amakusa and Shigeru Mizuki. Japan is a cool place. It sounds like you're kind of into like the more historical stuff, huh? Which is also very cool. I mean, if you're into it, regardless of what you're into, if you like anime, if you like historical stuff, if you like both, if you're into tea ceremonies, if you're into hot springs, whatever you're into, you're bound to find something that you really gravitate toward in Japan. I really believe that. So I feel like everyone should get a chance to go at some point if you can, but you know, time and money aren't exactly growing on trees, so you gotta plan it well. You know? Yeah. Isn't Japan like 1K islands? Something like that. There are a ton of islands, that's for sure, but it's got a couple major ones, right? It's got its major ones and then a ton of little ones. Most of them are kind of off of Kyushu, off the Kyushu region, but there are some off of Tokyo that are weirdly super far away from Tokyo. Like there's an island called Ogasawara, and you can only get there by boat, right? But it's considered to be a part of Tokyo. It's a really long boat trip. A lot of people teaching English, for example, might get excited when they see that they've been placed in Tokyo. However, there's going to be a couple teachers that might be a little shocked when they find out that they're going to be living in Ogasawara. So yeah, there are a ton of islands. Yup. Just a little trolling. Was that certain people you, Mori? Weirdly enough, no. I did not have that misfortune, sadly. Was that where you were? No. I was rural, but I wasn't there. Thank goodness. I had a plane. They do not get planes. Sadly. Sadly or fortunately. Well, it depends on how you look at it. I actually kind of like the countryside. I don't know, the more that I think about it, it might have been a nice adventure. I probably should consider myself lucky. Rural sounds fun. I had to drive. I had to drive in the countryside for a while. Oh, but it was fun. It was a nice memory. We got a big ups to Jacob Langlet. Thank you very much. Grad trip, huh? That sounds exciting. I'm sure you got to see quite a bit that Japan has to offer just from then, huh? A big ups to Taquito Burrito. I'll be moving to Tokyo in a little over a month. Any advice for someone moving overseas for the first time? I've visited a couple of times before, but this will be a new experience. Oh yeah, it's much different living in Japan than visiting, I would say. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that you don't know. Just get ready for that. But it sounds like if you're legitimately moving there and like you have your proper documents and whatnot, you must have some kind of plan or people that you know there, right? If you don't, though, that's okay. But if you do, I would lean on them if I were you and really take advantage of their help because they probably want to offer it to you, right? If not, there are still communities of people that can help you. If you go to your local ward office, a lot of times they'll have flyers about like, oh, learning Japanese classes and something special for our foreign community and whatnot. And they'll have a bunch of phone numbers where you can call and get like some support in your language. And they'll be able to help you with various things, which is very nice. So there's always some way to feel connected, I would say. So, How long did the paperwork take you? When it comes to registering as like a new resident living in Japan, it does take a bit of time, but it's really just like a couple ward visits, and things that you have to submit to like whatever company is sponsoring your visa and that kind of thing, right? Things about you, documents, official documents. A lot of it's a bit of a blur in my mind these days, but it isn't easy, but it is very much worth it. For sure. Any advice for someone moving though? Just buy all new things, and minimalist is okay. It depends on how long you want to live there. See, I don't really know how long you want to live there, so don't worry too much about bringing furniture over. You'll gradually build up your amount of things over in Japan, and just accept there's going to be a lot you don't know, and it's okay to take it slow. The first year is going to be chaotic. The first year that you're there is going to be a ton of things you don't know. You're going to get things in the mail that say you need to pay this, but it's going to be all in Japanese, which is super fun. You're going to have to use your phone to use the little translating camera on it, scan the thing to figure out what you're supposed to be paying for. Thankfully, a lot of things can be paid at the convenience store, so that's good. That should be okay. And depending upon who set up your living circumstances, once you make a Japanese bank account, hopefully they can just withdraw it straight from the bank account. There's just a lot going on. Yeah. But I intend to stay permanently, waiting for kids' school situation to allow. Oh, I see. Interesting. Well, it sounds like there's some things you gotta wait for first, which is okay, because that means more time to plan. So, yeah. Good luck out there, Taquito Burrito. I think that's really the best advice I can give you is just don't get frustrated because there's going to be a lot you don't know, but you will grow into it. And you're not going to die. Remember that even when it feels impossible. You're not going to die. I promise you, you won't die. Good luck out there, okay? We've also got a big ups to Mr. Redbird. Thank you very much. It'd be your first international trip. I can probably only go once in my life. How many days do you think I need to get the most out of the trip? Well, if you can only go once in your life, you're going to want to knock out more than just Tokyo. So I'd recommend a week and a half to 2 weeks to try and hit as much as you can. However, you also kind of don't want to feel too extremely rushed because then you can't really take in everything that you're seeing, right? So what I would say in that case is maybe just choose the things that you really care about doing. You don't need to see everything in the world, but I'd really recommend checking out Tokyo and Osaka. And while you're in Osaka, maybe take a day trip to Kyoto. Yeah, that would be really nice. And you might need to just accept that you aren't going to be able to see it all. And that's okay. You know, you gotta pick out what's really important to you. What app do you recommend to learn Japanese on the go? That's a tough one, Filthy Frank. I don't know. You're probably I hate to always say the same, you know, oh, Duolingo is the best you can do, but it really kind of is the only thing out there that's kind of good. But with Duolingo, there's like a limit. There's like a cap on how fluent you can get in Japanese. I think that's okay, but just recognize that if you do use it, you will be able to get around Japan easily. That is the truth. If you did master Duolingo with Japanese, I think you would be able to get around with ease. I think you'd be able to have conversations decently easily as well, but there's still going to be levels that you can't reach. So, and also you need to talk to Japanese people. If you don't live in Japan, that can be really hard. But there are sites where you can actually talk to Japanese tutors or just do casual talking to people. Like, I think there was a site called italki, ITALKI, recommended by a Japan vlogger a while back. You can use that to talk to tutors for fairly cheap, I would say. And some people will just do it for free as well, you know, but that's of course a bit more on the sketchy side. I guess you really kind of don't know what you're going to get in that mixed bag, so you cross your fingers and pray, right? It might be an exchange situation where they want you to practice their English with you, and you might want to practice Japanese with them. Of course, it's always much easier if you have like a friend that has your same interests, right? Like if you met a holo friend or something on Twitter, they want to practice their English, you want to practice your Japanese. There's always that opportunity, but of course, being shy is a thing as well, and I definitely understand that. What about playing Apex with Japanese people? I think that sounds super fun. Super fun. If you're cool with it. Yeah. Playing with Japanese players, I think that'll lead to some hilarious interactions if you try to speak Japanese to them. Yeah. Thank you very much, Flamenco. We're reading Supas right now, but I'm still giving some advice here and there about Japan. Big ups to Burgerton. Thank you very much. Going to Osaka, although I'm mainly staying in Shibuya in Tokyo though next week, and I was curious about the general area and things to do. I heard shopping there's big from a tutor. Thanks. I'd say shopping in Japan in general is pretty big, but in Osaka I definitely see where they're coming from. There's a ton to shop for and there's a ton to eat. So like I mentioned before, you're gonna want to go to Dotonbori and just enjoy eating things. But I'd make that like the eating part. Enjoy the street food. Also, you should visit Amerikamura, which is the America Village. You know how sometimes in the States, for example, you have like a Chinatown or a Japantown, right? Or like a Little Italy. They have that in Osaka for America. It's called Amerikamura. And what a place. That's where the real shopping pops off. It's the America town. I recommend you go check that out. Go tool around there for a day. Is it authentic? When I went, it's fun to laugh at. There are some shirts that you see there where you're like, holy shit. They're funny. A lot of music, actually, like a lot of shows, a lot of live shows happen in the Amerikamura. So, yeah, it's interesting. 面白いね。アメリカ人がアメリカ村行くの面白いわら。面白いね。面白かった。There were a lot of interesting things. Doesn't have the authentic American danger, huh? Well, I would still, you say that, I would still be careful there. Osaka is a place where you need to look out for yourself a bit more than Tokyo. I'll just say it straight out because I care for your safety. It is a bit more dangerous. You need to look out for yourself there. People are much more outgoing there. They're very upfront, very forward if they want something. Why? Who could say? That's just how they are. They're eccentric. They're more friendly, but it is also a bit more dangerous. So, dang, so I'll fit right in. See, that's why I also really recommend people go to Osaka, especially foreigners, because you might find that things fit a little more there in the sense of like outgoing and friendly, I guess. Is it as dangerous as Chicago? Nowhere in Japan is going to be like America in that regard. Let me say that. Yeah, there are some parts of town where the crime sides are more baked into the roots of the area. Yeah, definitely. That's kind of how I would describe. So just keep your guard up and be careful. It is chill, it is fun. I'm not trying to scare you or anything. Just don't go in with the idea of, oh, Japan, nothing bad happens in Japan. I can just do whatever. You can't do that. You gotta look out for yourself. So I can walk around there like, I know. Nobody walks in LA. Please tell me where to find Japanese girlfriend. I can't help you, buddy. I can't help you there. I'd help you if I could. I just don't know. I just don't know. A big ups to Game8910. Thank you so much for the travel tips, Callie. I will definitely keep these recommendations in mind as I finally get to achieve my dream to go to Japan in 2 weeks for my very 5th time. Do even more. It seems like you're a seasoned veteran as well. Game8910. Enjoy your time there. A big ups to Kevin, thank you very much. And we've got a big ups to Tanaka-san. Tanaka Taro. Looks like the John Smith of Japan is here. Thank you so much for the red brick. Akaspa, arigatou gozaimasu. Ureshii desu. Arigatou. I would love to watch you play at Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival on streaming. Some hololive songs have been added. Please consider it. Incidentally, the new written song, Doppon no Bara Tosai no Uta, has the same composer as the BGM of SSBU Final Destination! Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. No way. Same composer? Sugee na. That's pretty cool. Is that a Switch game? If it's a Switch game, I could probably play it. When I imagined playing Taiko no Tatsujin, I just imagined like, alright, I'm streaming this, but I have 2 huge drums in front of me and sticks. Wouldn't you guys want to see the sticks and the drums? But maybe I'm just thinking too hard about it. I guess there's a Switch version. If that's the case, then yes, I will give it a shot. I love that. I want to play more holo songs. Maybe I can have a day where we play a bunch of rhythm games that have holo songs. That would be kind of cool. That's the arcade version. I see. Well, if I can play it on Switch, let's go. Alright, thank you very much to Waluigi Cubed. Thank you very much. Mossburger is good in my opinion. Not for everyone, but I enjoy it. Thank you to Just In Case I Win and Just In Case I Win. What would you recommend to folks with a shellfish allergy? Staying away from a lot of seafood because sadly in Japan, I think that they process a lot of it in the same area. Especially in restaurants. I think they're kind of not really thinking about that. You're gonna want to learn how to say I have a shellfish allergy in Japanese. What is that? I'll do the heavy lifting for you. Shellfish allergy. Ooh, there's a word for it. 甲殻類。ちょっと待って。甲殻類アレルギー。甲殻類アレルギー types into Google. No, not Google. You silly dummy. My Japanese app dictionary. And they had it here. 甲殻類アレルギー. So silly. Allergy in Japanese being arerugi is even more silly. Not araji, arerugi. I remember the first time that like somebody asked me in Japan if I had any allergies. They said, Mori sensei, do you have arerugi? And I was like, what does that even mean? Arerugi-san. Aruruki-kun. God damn it. Just the worst thing on the planet. Aruruki-san. Wow, that's bad. That's cringe, man. Biggest Alex had Koili. Thank you very much. I'm now imagining a conveyor belt steakhouse. I mean, I think that would do well in the States. Big ups to Arnolfo Mendez. Thank you very much. Apparently it's German. Really now? They do borrow a lot of things from German, actually, like arubaito. Ne? Arnolfo Mendez, thank you so much. And a big ups to Kawasemi. Kawasemi-san, arigato. 日本のことたくさん紹介してくれてありがとう。いえいえ。楽しかった。Big ups to Rad Crab. Do they have cat cafes? Oh yeah, they have more than just cat cafes. They have owl cafes, they have snake cafes. Tons of different kinds of cafes with like special little animals and stuff. They have a bird cafe. All over the place. How is American fast food in Japan? Cleaner. Really interested in trying them out. Going to Japan for the first time next year with friends. Thanks for everything. Have fun, Rad Crab. We've got a big ups to Christopher Hoang. Thank you very much. Anything to look out for in November? Let me think. I'm not sure if Holo's announced any events happening in November, but who could say what will happen in the future, so keep your eyes peeled, yeah? A big ups to Andrea, thank you very much. The stream came in clutch. I'll be in Japan in June. Yatta. Have fun. I'm shy, but I hope to meet new people. Cheers. Go have a blast out there, okay? Thank you very much to Kaya. Butter. Let's go. Flying round trip from Zip Air for 600 Singapore dollars from Singapore was a thing. It's amazing. Yup. That's a good low budget airline. I recommend it. Big ups to Charles Martins. Thank you. Never had the guts to go into a maid cafe before? Got any suggestions? It's interesting because if you go to Akihabara, you can really just pop into any of them. And there's so many different themes too. There's so many different kinds. All you gotta do is walk in, order something, get a drink. They will try to talk to you as best they can. You do only live once. And big ups to John E. Thank you. If you want to watch some bands or listen to music, if you're in the Shibuya area and you kind of like walk down Basketball Street, it's what it's called Basketball Street, you'll start to get into like the music area. If you look up Shibuya Eggman and you look around like that whole area, there are tons of little underground venues full of like different shows that are going on, with a lot of underground performers where like their like group is going to watch them, but like sometimes foreigners pop in and out of those just for fun. You know, there's a bar, there's somebody performing in front of a crowd of 4 people. It's cool. And they're very welcoming. Although you might get a group of people that are like, oh wow, foreigner-san. I don't know how to feel about this, but typically they'll be cool. Just gotta buy entrance, you know? Yep. So I recommend, go down Basketball Street. Find the Shibuya Eggman. Go around that area. Check out the Underbar. Yeah, Underbar is cool. Under Deer Lounge. Under Deer Lounge is cool. And typically, like, every other night, there'll be some kind of event going on with somebody performing there. We've got a big ups to Draconic Insight. Thank you very much. A big ups to It's Yoshi Saikono. Thank you. And thank you to Archon X, my pleasure, given as many tips as I can. A big ups to Donger Bread, thank you very much. A big ups to Kiriryu, thank you very much. First time sending a super chat. I appreciate it for the tips. Planning to go to Japan trip in the near future. Enjoy! I think you'll have a great time. A big ups to Zach Lath, thank you very much. A big ups to 41 Guy, thank you. And a big ups to Prinny's Rock as well. Thanks for the tips, Ambassador. Plan to go in October with some of my cousins. Hope it's not too late to plan now. I'd say actually now is the perfect time to plan for it. I'd say it's just in time. So I hope you have a great time. October's a fantastic time to go as well too, because the heat's calming down.
A big ups to Untitled One, thank you very much. And a big ups to Hyun Seong, thank you for many useful tips, Ambassador Mori. Also, my Blu-ray arrived today, yay! Well, be sure to watch it lots, okay? Watch it over and over and over and over. Nah, you can only watch it once if you want, but then display it somewhere nice, you know? Or do a little watch party. That could be fun too. Well, guys, that's all from me today. That's all from Mori. It's time for Mori to sleep. So I'll catch you guys all on the flip side, okay? Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you around. Thanks for coming to my Mori talk about Japan. I'll catch you guys later, okay? Bye, everybody. Sleep well. Peace. Bye-bye. Enjoy Japan!